Okay, guys, I hope this is working. I've been trying to get the backup proper all this time, and I hope it's actually working. So, don't mind me as I mess around. I need to get the chat up here properly so I can see if you guys are here. I hope you can hear me well. You'll have to show up to let me know. Let's see. Okay, I could see the chat and I could see the page. So, I need someone to come in and chat to tell me that it's all working properly because I've been testing it for a while and really don't know. Mitch is here. He says hello. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, I just need to get my screen in the right place here. There we go. Now I have what I want there. Now I want to change what I have here. I'm working on two screens here. Awesome. How is the sound actually? How is the sound, guys? All right. I'm putting the chat up into the bigger screen. Perfect. I will forgive your tardiness since I needed a moment to gather my notes. Well, I'm very anxious to hear your notes, Mitch, for sure. And HTEM says it's all working properly. Okay. I think this is going to work until I get a new computer. If anything goes wrong, I apologize in advance. This is all on the fly. I think everything should be fine, but you just don't know. So anyway, guys, day 11. What can I say about day 11? I've had a whole day now to process since I watched it, this afternoon. Wow. I have some notes from earlier matches and, some things that are going on with the guys. A little bit of a couple of days ago I'll talk about. But we all really want to talk about who's going to win this tournament. I would say that is what is the high focus. So, let me get into my early notes, and we'll go from there. So, I was really surprised to see Meisei pull a Katatsukashi today. I don't know if he's ever done that. I'm sure he's done it at some point, but I feel like he was inspired by Midori Fuji at this point because he'll do anything to get a win. Then with the Toki Hayate versus Gonoyama match, it was interesting how Toki Hayate just kept with the plan. Even though it didn't work the first time, Gonoyama was sort of wise to, okay, people eat my Tachi-ai, then they get around me, and then they, get me out on the edge. So Gonoyama is consistent with the pressure, and then Toki Hayate is like, yeah, I'm too fast for you, and just gets around him anyway. Fujinokawa versus Nishiki Fuji. So there's a couple things. I actually started making a list. So before I talk about that match, I need to look at the records here. So let me look at the records really quick I got a list of the small men. We literally have 5 legit small men in this tournament. And then we have some that could be considered smaller men, like the Uras and things like that. But I want to keep track of the small man sumo records because the first week, they were doing so excellent. Asakuri was on fire. Fujinokawa was on fire. Toki Hayate. It looks like the small man is getting beat down in the second week, but Fujinokawa still hanging on with a 6-5. Asakuri hanging on with a 6-5. Nishiki Fuji, and we will talk about him because I'm going to talk about this match, but we haven't seen this version of him in a long time, and I wasn't expecting it, and I am pleasantly surprised. Toki Hayate 8-3 as well. Nobody expected that. I'm pretty confident. And who else we got on our list? Midori Fuji. Where are you, Midori Fuji? There you are. Also 6-5. So all the small guys are holding it down. We got a bunch of 6 and 5s and 2 8 and 3s. This is a good tournament for the small man, and I would even include, Hoshiryu is not a small man. No, he's not a small man, but the smaller Yokozuna is on fire. But we'll get to that. Anyway, I'm just rambling a little bit because I was just so impressed with the small guys this tournament. They're finally making their stand. So, Fujinokawa versus Nishiki Fuji. So, like I just said, Fujinokawa is starting to lose the momentum. But Nishiki Fuji pulled out that, let's do the order right, the big sumo for the small man. And he looked like mini Terunofuji again in this tournament. And Fujinokawa's got no answer to that. Absolutely none. So I'm looking forward to seeing he's in the Yusho race. I don't expect that to continue, but it does make for some exciting sumo. And in the small man sumo world, Shishi tried to just break Asashoryu's arm off. Good for him for trying very, very hard to stay in that match, but it was looking dangerous. It's like Shishi really will break you. He doesn't seem to have that sense of, let me just gently guide you out. It's like, no, I'll break your arm in 4 places. So I'm glad Asashory finally got that message and just let him push him out. Midori Fuji with a 2-day in a row Katatsukashi to get a 6 and 5. Now, Daisho, I'm so worried about Daisho. Forever, he was so consistently in the Sanyaku and he was consistently healthy. And now, clearly, he is not healing up from the injuries. And I fear that he's getting even more injuries. So, we might see a rapid decline out of nowhere for Daisho, and that's kind of scary. We'll talk about this more in the recap, but he might have to start thinking about what's the best method long term, like if he needs to stay out of a tournament to heal up, because he does not look good right now, and I'm worried. Quite frankly, I'm worried. So now we get to the first big match of the day. Ao Nishiki versus Yoshino Fuji, the former Kusano. I'm really regretting not picking Yoshino Fuji for my Jason team. I did the Jason Sumo instead of Kachi Clash. I wanted to pick him, but he was such a disappointment last tournament that I thought maybe, just maybe, the hype isn't quite there, and I got too excited about him too quickly and that he was going to take some time. No, he just had an off tournament. This is exactly what we saw from him in his debut. He's hungrier than ever because of the defeat in the last tournament. So, keep your eyes on Yoshino Fuji. I mean, he was so hungry in that match, and most people at this point have picked up that Ao Nishiki's biggest weakness is, the pusher thruster. If he can't get under you and you get him upright, he just doesn't have the power at this point if you are pushing him like that. And Yoshino Fuji is a strong man. So, not only does he seem to have his number, but he just showed all the top guys exactly how to beat him. But, as we get talking about the future matches, I have some thoughts on strategy for Ao Nishiki. Koto Sakura getting it done. He impresses me. So, he is definitely battling just so much injury and so much pain, but he's a massive guy, and he knows how to use his body. And unlike some guys who have fought hurt, he seems to know how to fight hurt. And he's doing what he needs to do. He's working for that Kachikoshi. He'll probably be out as soon as he has it. But he's determined at this point to maintain Ozeki. And that's really all we can ask for from him at this point. We will get into more details about Koto Sakura in the recap show as to what does his future look like. So, Hoshoryu. I have so much to say about Hoshoryu. But I'm just going to, for this moment, speak about the match itself. That Henka from Wakamoto Haru, I felt that pain. Not in a way where it was like, oh no, a Henka, like we're past that point, but it was gut-wrenching. Because here's Hoshiryu really trying to prove that he's a Yokozuna. And to lose like that is literally like getting slapped in the face. Ever since then, a fire has been lit under him. He is manhandling every single opponent, just tossing them to the ground. It's almost like at this point he's channeling that anger inside of him and just he's trying to demonstrate, I am a Yokozuna. And no one can question it at this point. I don't know what the results will be, but he's dominating the last 4 matches. So, of course, he destroys Oho. There was no question. There was no doubt. And gets himself to 9-2. And Aonishiki had lost, so now Aonishiki was 9-2. So, Onosato versus Takanosho. I didn't have any words. I couldn't understand exactly what happened. I saw him fall face first. But I'm like, did he trip? Did his knee buckle? Did Takanosho's throat thrust hit him in a spot that messed him up? I have no idea. But his lower body just gave out. He just crumpled to the ground. If we had done live streams the last 2 days, now he was looking a little shaky actually. He lost the day before, and even before that there were a couple iffy moments. But the first 7 days, Onosato looked like he had finally overcome all the little jitters that he has. He looked so dominant. I was convinced that he was now finally undefeatable and it was going to be a really tall order for Hoshiryu. And what happened today is just so confounding. I don't even know how you come back from it. You have to. You're Yokozuna and everything else, but it's confounding. I don't know. I think at this point he really needs to win the Yusho to make people forget about what happened today. Meanwhile, Hoshiryu just looked like, yes, this is it, man. I'm going to show this guy. He is fired up. I was saying in our post section that Aonishiki, Onosato, and Hoshiryu all seemed to be firing each other up. They were each going up another level higher in anticipation of what the next guy was going to do. And here comes Yoshino Fuji, who's like, don't forget about me. And we can't forget about him because he is now, with Onosato losing and Aonishiki losing, we have a 3-way tie, 9-2. And that means all the 8 and 3s are in the race. So, we're going to talk about tomorrow's matchups. I'll read your comments. And then, I also have, I made this little list that we'll talk about too. But anyway, Hoshiryu versus Takayasu tomorrow. The way that, I'm so hesitant to say this because we just saw the collapse of Onosato. But if Hoshiryu continues to fight the way he is fighting and nothing weird happens, he'll beat Takayasu tomorrow and he'll toss him down. Takayasu is looking pretty hurt. There's a chance Takayasu pulls out. I don't think he will. But Hoshiryu should have this match. I'm not going to 100% predict anything, but he should have this match. Onosato versus Oho. Onosato 100% needs to right the ship. He needs to have a dominant performance tomorrow because what happened today is a confidence crusher. One of two things is going to happen tomorrow. Either he is just going to get it together and he's going to make us forget what happened. He's going to crush Oho. Or Oho, who has traditionally been one of the guys who's given him trouble, defeats Onosato and he pulls out. Yes, I'm predicting a possible pullout from Onosato with an injury. That might sound crazy, and maybe it is. But something feels so wrong about the loss today. It was not like him. And the next important match is Kotozakura versus Yoshino Fuji. So Kotozakura is just fighting for his Ozeki life. Yoshino Fuji is fighting to be in the Yusho picture, to stay in it and possibly tie in it. And then Awanishiki versus Oshoma. Awanishiki, I'm not worried about. Maybe I should be, but I'm not. He usually adapts pretty well. He usually comes back with an adjustment. He doesn't seem to have confidence issues. Like, oh no, my sumo. I'm sure he realizes he just got beat by the exact type of guy who would beat him. And I think he'll be prepared, and Oshoma's having a terrible tournament. So unless something weird happens, I will never discount weird. Awanishiki should win tomorrow. So we should be seeing Hoshoryu and Awanishiki and Onosato. They should all be tied tomorrow, but Onosato's got a big question mark over him. And, Takayasu, he is a former Ozeki. He can do anything. He really can. So that's my predictions for tomorrow. I got a list of the injured, and I did see that Mitch had kind of mentioned this. Tobizaru is absolutely cooked. Oh my goodness. He's got tape on every part of his body. We've not seen that from him since he got to the top division. He's stayed relatively injury-free, and now suddenly he is injured everywhere. Daisho not looking good. Sadano Umi gets his Makikoshi today. He's 38 years old. Would not be surprised if this is the last tournament we see him in. There's always reasons why guys stay on, but he's got all the reasons in the world to retire at this point, but we'll see what happens. And then wrestlers that are killing me. That's a new category for the live streams. Haku Oho, you're killing me, dude. I picked you for Jason Sumo. I thought you'd have like a solid showing. Nah. And I don't see injury. Maybe there is injury, but I don't see it. So I don't know if this is just a really off basho. But man, I went against all my instincts and didn't pick the guys I wanted to pick. And all the guys I wanted to pick are doing great. So I'm very, very annoyed. But that's aside. Okay, I'm going to read your comments, and then I have lots to say about Hoshoryu. I have a little bit to say about Asanoyama, but I want to get to the comments before they get out of control. Just give me 1 second here. I'm going to make sure this is proper. It's okay. It's proper. It's just reading wrong. Okay. Anyway. My first note is that Tobizaru is 4-7. I'm very happy about that. Mitch, are you really happy to see poor Tobizaru be so banged up? I mean, I'm sure you're glad that he's losing, but isn't it kind of sad that he's just a shell of a person now? I'm surprised that Meisei showed up in the first place. Me too. I'm guessing he's just trying to not have a complete collapse, just trying to hang on to his ranking somewhat. But the Katatsukashi was slick. I mean, just be tricky. If you're not feeling it, be tricky. No one expects a Katatsukashi from Meisei. Craig says, what have I missed? Just saw it started. You just missed my recap of the day. But I'm sure you caught some of it because I'm way behind the comments. And Mitch says you have missed very little, so I was correct. You wanted someone to remind you. Talk about Takeru Fuji versus Asanoyama. Thank you, Monster, and I will. I have some thoughts on that match. Habob Gob is here. Hello, All Might. GR is here. Hello. Mitch, I know it was a slip off the tongue, but I freaking hate Shishi. I freaking date Shishi to try. Dare. I'm guessing you're trying to say. I know it was a slip of the tongue, but I freaking dare Shishi to break Asashoryu's arm. See how well that goes. I don't know. Shishi is like Lemmy from of Mice and Men. Like the really, really big guy who's like not necessarily trying to hurt you, but he will. I mean, I was concerned. And I would always be concerned if you're a smaller guy fighting Shishi. He will hurt you without much thought about it. I mean, maybe he cares, but he won't show that he cares. Monster says, this is the basho of the not unsuccessful but still disappointing comebacks. Clarify that for me. Hoshoryu has looked fired up after that Wakamoto Haru Henka. Oh, man. So I had posted the Henka, about the Henka, and I was just like, I may have said some things that I regret, but I was very, very upset. and I'm not Hoshoryu. I imagine he went back, trashed some locker rooms, flipped out, and then said, all right, you want to play? Let's play. Next time he fights Wakamoto Haru, guarantee he's ready for that, and he's going to be tossing him. I mean, he's been tossing everybody. What he did to Ura was just a crime. I felt really sad for Ura, and I'm a big Hoshoryu fan. There's no way Yoshino Fuji was injured during London. I'm convinced the story about him not getting a passport was true and he's hiding it. I don't know. He did have a terrible tournament prior to London, though. Something's off. I don't know. Bob says, no Katatsukashi for Midori since March, now 2 days in a row. That's how he wins. I know he'd prefer to change his style, but he has better tournaments when the Katatsukashi comes out. And he gets people who know it's coming, and he gets people who he's gotten before. They just can't defend against it when he's on. GR says, Tamawashi almost got birthday Kimboshi, just slipped finishing, and Onosato did his awkward bunny hop at the bales. That should have been my first hint that something was off with Onosato. And it's funny, though, because Takanosho not too dissimilar from Tamawashi in his approach. Now, when I watched the Sunday Morning Sumo show version of it, Goose was saying that he believed Takanosho's strike to the throat just threw Onosato so off balance that he couldn't move forward. And that's possible. But it just doesn't make sense why that happened. Like, he should have been able to steady himself, but I don't know. Maybe Takanosho hit him in the wrong spot. But anyway, Tamawashi almost beat him in the same way, and, Onosato got lucky. The question was always Fujinokawa's stamina over 15 days when going 100% of the Tachiai. It only lasted a week. That's a good point. I kind of forgot about that. Definitely his stamina is tanking, and we're seeing that with all the small men. They've got to exert quite a bit extra. They can't reserve like the big guys, because they've got to be moving to win their matches. So if they start to get tired, then you start to see the records we're seeing. But so far, Nishiki Fuji, who, he's a beast. He's a small guy, but he does not fight like a small guy. Not surprised he's doing so well. But Toki Hayate, apparently he's learned a lot in his back and forth situation, back and forth with Juryo. Tamawashi fighting well, but still losing all the close matches. You hate to see it. Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing of being 41 years old. I mean, most sumo wrestlers will never see 41 years old in the ring, let alone the top division, let alone fighting the top guys. You get to fight Onosato at 41. So, he's still fighting amazingly, but these guys are just 20 years younger than him. Maybe a little less than 20 years younger than him, but he's really an underdog. So you can't say nothing bad about him at all. He's doing everything humanly possible. Yoshino Fuji has Aonishiki's number 3-0 against him. Yeah, I kind of touched on that, but, not strongly enough. He's a bad match for Aonishiki. Aonishiki needs to get in low, and Yoshino Fuji he's got his hands under him, and he's pushing him up. And Aonishiki's a little bit, he's a little bit on the smaller side. So he just doesn't have the defense for that. He needs to be able to, get around the ring. He just can't stop the slap. H. Tim, I especially like Midori's Katatsukashi today because you could see it coming like it was just inevitable. Yeah, when he's really on, you know it. You can see the setup, and he still executes it. It's so funny. Aonishiki's just cooking up that 11-4. He'll cook Yoshino Fuji next time. We don't want to really see him do 11-4 again, do we? Do we want to see him, improve? But, it could go that way. It really could. I'm really interested to see the Wakamoto Haru versus Hoshoryu match in Hatsu. Oh, I can't wait for the rematch. Hoshoryu is the type to hold a grudge and need to show you something later. I'm liking Koto Sumo. It's a step in the right direction. He did that in September before the second injury, where he found a way to just be stable and do what he can do because he's a very large man. He's always been good at defense. So even with an injury, there's things he can do that other guys can't. And once again, he has picked up where he left off in September, even though he's slightly more injured. And he's showing you how to do it. Now, I doubt he's ever going to be Yokozuna, but he might be able to stick around at Ozeki for a while like this. Hot Bob is getting waffles. Excellent. Craig says Ross on NHK was taken aback too. How could you not be? How could you not? Like, I had to rewatch it a couple times. I'm like, I don't understand why that happened like that. So I did go back and watch it, and, you know, Takanosho did get a pretty direct shot to the throat. I do think it's possible. I mean, think about this. Someone thrusting at your throat, he could have hit a spot that really was bad and caused some serious pain, and Onosato just couldn't handle that. It's possible. I mean, so it's not like he went forward and just slipped. He did get chopped in the throat. So, I don't know. Be interesting if any interviews come out from that. Onosato has really choked the past couple days. It felt like not what you'd expect from him. Well, you say that, but let's think about Onosato. And this is the thing I bring up, and then people get mad at me or say I'm an Onosato hater. I'm not. I'm just an analyzer of sumo. Onosato is this big, strong, steady guy, but he has these lapses. He gave up 4 Kimboshi in July, and that was all mental. You see that he's way stronger than everybody, except for a few select guys. Something is still not stable with him yet. He's still not there. You know, so he has the ability to Zensho. He has the ability to dominate for 15 days, but something goes wrong with him. Mental lapses. So it's not what I expected because he was doing so well in this tournament, but then when it happened, I'm like, yeah, this stuff happens to him. You could say the same thing about Hoshoryu. I mean, sometimes he loses to people and you're like, what in the world was that? Why did you lose to him? Onosato looks like someone who was trying to do a Takayasu impression but doesn't know how to do it correctly and is choking out of schedule. Oh my goodness. That is a brutal comment, Mitch. I don't even know what to say. That's a bold prediction. I think you're talking about me saying he might pull out. Hear me out. I could be completely wrong about this, right? I think today's loss was just not the image he wanted to portray. It's not the image that Nishinoseki wants to portray. If he loses 3 days in a row, I could see it. I could see them saying, your head's not in the game, you have an injury, pull out. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm just saying I could see it. Yeah, no, he looked incorrect in that loss. Like I said, it's possible that he hit him in the throat in just the absolute wrong way. Think about if someone hit you right straight in the throat. I know most of us would crumple to the ground. Sumos usually don't, but it's possible. I will say it was exciting that Takakeisho was in the announce booth watching that match. I'm sure they had a good time afterwards. Because I feel like Takakeisho's the type to be like, yeah, man, it's awesome. I can see Onosato losing to Oho and going 11-4, and Aonishiki going 11-4, and I can feel the Hoshoryu Yusho. Well, let me put it to you this way. It's set up for him to win at this point. I really think that. Onosato is not dominating anymore. It's a complete clean slate. The Henka does not matter at this point. It's up to Hoshoryu to do what he needs to do. I think it's his to lose. I really do. He's the one with all the momentum. He's the one looking like a Yokozuna right now. So if he loses, it's going to be his fault. And that's where we're going to learn how tough Hoshoryu really is, because this is where it gets hard. It always gets hard on day 12. That's the first day where it's like anything could happen. And usually by now we have somebody who's it seems like they're running away with it, with a couple guys chasing. We have a 3-way tie right now. Pretty nuts. So if Hoshiryu really wants to prove himself, he's got to get really locked in and not get over crazy. Sadano Umi, I think it's going to go on until he's about to drop to Makushita. Also possible. I mean, he could keep fighting for a long time. I think he looks good still. He doesn't look hurt. But he's totally outclassed in the top division at this point. Onosato lost to Takanosho in November 2024, day 11. And guess what he did today? Beat Onosato on day 11 this Basho. Yes, I did know that. They pointed that out on the Sunday Morning Sumo show. That's pretty nuts. You could say if it wasn't the throat, the actual hit, maybe Onosato's mind was going a mile a minute. There is also the possibility that his stamina is tanking because of London. He came in really hot, but now it's week 2 and we're getting down to the final days. Maybe his legs are just kind of weaker. I'd love to hear from somebody in that camp, give us some sort of idea, but they probably don't want to talk about it. Days 13 through 15 is really going to be intriguing. Aonishiki, Kotozakura, Hoshiryu, and Onosato probably going to round robin. All right, so let me talk a little bit about my thoughts on Hoshiryu and Aonishiki, that fight. So Aonishiki, I still think, to this point, was in Hoshiryu's head. But Hoshiryu, the man that we're seeing right now, is going to blast him into the third row. Because he's seen now that's what works, right? And we know Hoshiryu can do that. Here's the flip side. Aonishiki knows that too. So Aonishiki's the type who goes back and makes adjustments. He knows that everybody saw him get blasted out. He knows that's going to be the new method. What if he tries a sidestep? And it doesn't have to be a full Henka. It could be just a little shift to the side, just not a complete engage. Now, Hoshiryu would hopefully also be wise to this. And because of that, maybe he can't go full bore on the Tachiai for risk of another Henka taking him to the ground. So we've got a very intriguing chess match here of what Aonishiki should do, what Hoshiryu should do. They both fight the same way, and they're both capable. Another thing is Hoshiryu could sidestep Aonishiki. We know Hoshiryu does the Henka, not Henka. It's going to be a literal insane mental chess match of will they engage at the Tachiai? And if they do, will Hoshiryu go for the blast right away, or will he try to play Aonishiki's game because he wants to prove he can do it better? That match is going to be insane. And it could suck at the same time. The mental prep for all of it is like insane, but maybe it's over in 2 seconds and something stupid happens because there's so much thinking and so much moving. But anyway, I can't wait to see what strategies are employed in that match. Hakuoho is perfectly defying all predictions by receiving no new injuries and still losing a bunch. Perfectly said, Monster. That was exactly my thought. I'm like, for once he doesn't look injured and he's fighting horribly. Man, that's why he's on the killing me list. Osha Umi's first basho in the top division, and he already looks like he's about to be carted out on a stretcher. Yeah, this tournament's not been kind. This is not the way you want to end your year in sumo. I mean, at least he's in the top division, but, this is kind of what you expect most guys to go through. And some of them have defied expectations, but, yeah, he's going through the gauntlet. I'm not sure Shishi is entirely consignment of how able he is to hurt people with his strength. It's kind of what I was saying. Like, he almost comes across as, like, I need to win at all costs. And I'm not really going to pay attention to the fact that I could break your arm right now. Like, I could beat you without breaking your arm, but I might break your arm first, just because. Gonoyama, Abi, and Daisho aren't having disaster basho. They all seem capable of 8 wins, but they're not looking good. Yeah, I guess I forgot to put Abi on the list of injured. I mean, he's looked terrible in the beginning. He had a little bit of a rally, but he's definitely a shadow of his former self. It's kind of sad. Don't like to see it. Gono Yama, I don't know what's going on with him. He's just good enough to be in the top division, but he has not figured himself out. He just doesn't know how to win. It's the best way I can put it. He knows Toki Hayate is going to do what he did, and he was good enough to, follow through, try to stick to him like glue, and then Toki Hayate still gets around him. It's like, what are you going to do with that? Craig says Hosh assassinated Ura. That was like, man, I've never seen somebody lose like this. I have not. I've never seen somebody just get like picked up and thrown. Like usually the Ashitori, you walk him out. He just threw him. And he turned his head like, he'll be fine. And Ura didn't have his usual like smile and, hey, you got me. It was just like, let me get out of here. Like that was too much, man. Hosh is in the zone. I love him. I don't like seeing him do that to Ura, but at the same time, like, he's got to show. There's so much crap talking, especially when Onosato started so strong and Hoshiryu loses to a Henka. Like, he has to show his Yokozuna pride. People have been on him since day one that he's not Yokozuna worthy. Well, he's got a statement to make, and he's making it. So I know this tournament, the stretcher's been dragged out a couple times, but I'm a little disappointed that I haven't seen the comically large wheelchair. I never like seeing the wheelchair. I like it in theory. Like, I like seeing it, but I don't want to see anybody in it. So this Forum Onosato, who did this pulling sumo against Kirishima, Ura, Tamawashi, and Yoshinofuji, and lost to Takanosho, could lose to Oho, who has beaten Onosato when he pulls. Onosato has been pulling. Yeah, Oho very well might beat Onosato tomorrow. But Onosato needs to... I mean, he's going to go back and Nisho Noseki's going to scream at him and tell him he's worthless and all that. And he's going to try to motivate him. If Onosato can just dial in and forget the nerves, he has the ability to beat anybody. He has the ability to dominate anybody. So, I don't know. I can't even call that match. It's pretty even at this point. Also, I'd like to note Mita and Shida and Juryo both had some grisly knee injuries. I did hear about Mita. Were they the ones carted out in stretchers? I hope not. Shows how much I pay attention, but when did Shiden get hurt? Yeah, I didn't hear about Shiden. I did hear about Mita. Literally the last day we watched. Just happened. Oh. I guess I'll have to go find Juryo and take a look. Onosato is also a training guy. He needs to train the pulling out of him before the Bashos, and we're seeing what happens when Onosato doesn't do all his practice because of London. That's a really good point, actually. We knew London was supposed to affect people, but it didn't seem to affect them like I thought. Everybody came in hot, ready to fight, full of energy, but now in week 2, we're seeing it. And that might be it. Onosato just didn't have the time to train, and now when the matches are tougher, he starts falling back on old habits. Shishi isn't quite Maegashira 11 level yet. He's somewhere between Koto Echo level and a Juryo yo-yo guy right now. Well, he's fighting the way I expected him to fight last tournament, and he really threw me off, so... I mean, now he's back to predictable him. I haven't looked, but it's safe to say he's going Kyujo. Hello, STZ02. You missed all the Onosato talk. You're the one who usually accuses me of being a hater, so make sure you listen back later and comment appropriately after the fact. He might go Intai. It was bad. This is Shiden. It was so bad that he's going to retire. Oh, my goodness. Rocket says, funny thing is, I see Aonishiki doing better against Onosato than Kusano because Kusano can be lower against him. I agree with you there. And I mean, there's a reason why Kusano has his number. I mean, they are, Onosato's a giant of a man. You fight a giant much differently than a guy who's like closer to your size, closer to your ability. Did you see the Takanosho interview in the Grand Sumo preview? I thought it was great. No, John just brought it to my attention, and so I'm planning to watch it sometime tomorrow. I'll have to go back and check the tapes. With him turning 34 next month, Intai would definitely be in the cards. Yeah, I mean, 34 is about the time when you at least think about retirement, and plenty of guys do retire at that age. Onosato did just slip it, look to me, but yeah, it's happening to Tachi. It doesn't help. The whole thing. I watched it over and over again. It just was so weird. H. Tim agrees. I just feel that the stars are aligning for Hoshoryu. He was 2 steps behind, and then Aonishiki and Onosato both dropped to 9 and 2, and Hoshoryu sneaking in to get the Yusho. Don't forget Yoshino Fuji, though. Just don't forget him. He's right there, waiting to be the new guy to win a Yusho. I do say that this is Hoshoryu's to lose. Oh, H. Tim had the same thought. He had Yoshino Fuji in there. I could totally picture Hoshoryu sneaking away with the Yusho just like that. I mean, yeah, the stars are aligning for him to take it. But anything can happen. We're in a 3-way tie. So I just think the momentum is in his favor, and he should continue on as he is. Your Onosato stealth Hoshoryu pick is hopefully going to come true. I really just want Hoshoryu to get his first Yokozuna Yusho so that he doesn't have to retire. You like that stealth pick now, huh? Well, I don't want to say anything more. Hoshoryu has been doing well lately. He's not on the hot seat yet. Yeah, I think even if he doesn't win this Yusho, unless something really, like he loses like Onosato did today, they're going to be like, no, he's great. Everything's great. It's fine. Because he looks like a Yokozuna. And that's what they want. They want him to look like a Yokozuna. Of course, going back to check the tapes is super difficult since nobody keeps stream vids public anymore. I know. There's ways, but I can't discuss that. I still don't like Takakeisho's new haircut. I can't really... I can't reconcile the new Takakeisho. It's hard. Because the only Takakeisho I ever knew was the big guy. And now he's a little guy, but he's the exact same person. But it feels like he's a new person. And like a person I don't know. When I knew the old Takakeisho so well. So, in a sense, I guess I don't like the new haircut either. Shodai can still Kachikoshi. Let me tell you something. I picked Shodai on the Jason contest. Why did I do this? Well, I started to realize everybody's going to pick, Onosato, Aonishiki, all these different guys. Most people aren't going to pick Shodai. So if he has another good sleeper tournament, that's how you get more points. You get your points on the variable guys. Well, it was a bad pick. And I'm never picking Shodai again. Shame on me for trusting Shodai 2 tournaments in a row. This 3-way playoff could be fun because Hoshoryu beats Onosato, who beats Aonishiki, who beats Hoshoryu, and I kind of like to see how long they can keep that going. It would be fun if we did have a scenario like that where people just keep winning, but the stamina is going to drain. That would be very, very difficult to do. All of these guys are still coming off a jet lag and, not training as much, and so they're not going to be up for that. The matches will start to get a little sloppier as they go on. That match against Tobizawa showed exactly why I'm a believer in Onokatsu. He's patient, but not passive. It's a very good synopsis of Onokatsu Sumo. He just needs to be more careful about when to back off from neutral positions to regroup, and he'll be a joy mainstay and easy. He's taking the slow path of learning. Some guys, that's what they have to do. Like, they have to lose those matches that, by an inch or so to realize, okay, this is how I can adjust. So I think he'll get there, but it may be a slow process. I don't know about a three-way playoff, at least maybe not the exact combo of Aonishiki, Hoshiryu, and Osato. I really don't see Kotozakura losing to all three of them to make the math work right. Well, that is a good point. And the question is, does he just fight 2 more days and pull out, or does he, stay in because it's the right thing to do for, the sumo overall. But like if he needs a rest, he might pull out after he gets his 8th win, and then it's another Fusen situation. Rocket asks, can anyone explain why Meisei is even here? Meisei is trying to just preserve his rank as much as possible. If he doesn't show up at all, then he's just going to drop to a very low position in Juryo, I think. So I think he's just trying to maintain his rank as best as possible. I'm back, catching up as of 9:52 Eastern Time. Goose is here. Goose says, Maria calling Onosato drops out on an injury like Babe Ruth calling a home run. Look, I like to make the risky calls because when they happen, it's hilarious. It's kind of like a Henka. Onosato's left leg slipped, but it made it look like his right leg stopped working. Yeah, it was just like his whole body didn't know how to move anymore. I can't really think of a better reason than he's a dumbass. That's why Meisei is here. Wow! I didn't know you hated Meisei as much as Tobizaru. You and John still on for day 13. Miss you, my big sis. Yes, as long as my temporary computer situation doesn't cause a problem. So I haven't been able to tell you yet, Goose, that my computer fixes that I was trying to do a month ago didn't work, and I had a complete crash of my computer that I use for everything. So I'm on a backup right now, and I had to reset up almost everything. As far as I can tell, everything is working. So yes, I'm definitely going to show up on day 13, and I just hope you can hear me. I think it'll work, but like I said, resetting up everything with a temporary laptop makes me a little nervous. But the plan is to be there, and John will definitely be there. That's why I'm not doing a live stream tomorrow night, because I'm doing the Sunday Morning Sumo show for the first time in a very long time. So if you want to stay up super late or get up super early, you can catch me there tomorrow. Well, Friday, early Friday morning. Anyway, Yoshino Fuji Yokozuna hype is once again alive. Hey, let's get Yoshino Fuji Sanyaku first. Oh my goodness, I am really behind in the comments. All right. Look up old Asashoryu matches. He picked up and butt dumped plenty of opponents. I definitely felt the Asashoryu inspiration in the last couple of days with Hoshoryu. And like I said, it's a tactic. He doesn't want to just win his matches. He wants to win his matches definitively. He has the most to prove. Onosato's taken most of the Yusho this year, and Hoshoryu doesn't even have one. He's running out of time before they start really getting on him about, not having a Yokozuna Yusho. So this is the time. The Hanka fired him up. Let's just take care of business and look really cool while doing it. Monster says, I'm not making predictions like that about Yoshino Fuji yet. I've seen the rising stars fall too many times. I'm still on the Aonishiki train for next Yokozuna. Okay, this is the proper time to talk about the Asanoyama Takeru Fuji match, because I know you guys will comment more, and I'm going to not have an appropriate moment. So as I was watching that match, here's two guys. Now, Takeru Fuji didn't have nearly the career or the hype, the length of hype that Asanoyama did, but Takeru Fuji comes in just blazing, sets a 100-year record, fights on a broken ankle. Everybody's like, this guy is the guy. And look at this. Like, injuries just knocked him into Juryo. And he's struggling against, like, just the standard Juryo guys. And it's like, what happened? And then you see Asanoyama, who was Ozeki, and the one that Hakuho predicted to be the next Yokozuna when Takekeisho was on a Yokozuna run. I will never forgive him for that. But Asanoyama was the most hype guy. He was going to be the next Japanese Yokozuna. And here he is, just tooling around in Juryo as well, fighting for his life just for a chance to touch the top division again. And I'm like, look at these two guys. They don't belong down here. This belongs to be a top division match, and this is what injuries can do. But I did think that Asanoyama looked so much more commanding than Takeru Fuji. And I fear that his potential, he's more, Takeru Fuji's looking more like a Tomokaze than an Asanoyama. You can see the former Ozeki in Asanoyama, even in, like, with his knee basically taped from his ankle up to his thigh. You can still see you can see the Ozeki aura in Asanoyama, and you just kind of see Takeru Fuji fading away into obscurity. I was not expecting this, but he must be really having a hard time overcoming. So we'll have to see. This is the time where you dig very, very deep. When you start off so hot like he did, to fall like this, it's really hard to overcome. So, anyway, I was kind of sad watching that match, and I wanted to bring that to people's attention. Say monster, but remember how he was immediately hyped as the next Onosato after consecutive Juryo Yusho. And this was Yoshino Fuji. I don't know. Yoshino Fuji, I mean, he looks great. And I thought immediately in his top division debut that he's going to be somebody. But I didn't think he looked like Onosato. Onosato, from the very beginning, was just somebody different. And when a talent like that comes along, you just notice it. It feels different. I don't know if Yoshino Fuji is really on that level. The fact that he won Juryo twice is very impressive. But he's impressing me this tournament. We're going to see at the end of it who he really is. Habob Gab says, same monster, but remember how he was immediately... Oh, wait, I just read that. Takeru Fuji now mathematically can't be promoted back to Makauchi for Hatsu. Look at that. I started talking about him right before you made the comment. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be stuck in Juryo. There's a chance that Asanoyama gets stuck in Juryo too, by the way. Even if Aonishiki stops at Ozeki, I'm already thinking of him as part of the top 3. Yeah, he's solidified himself. He's like possibly going to just jump right over Kotozakura because Kotozakura already has the Ozeki position, but it's obvious he's never going to be able to go any higher. He's just too hurt. Yoshino Fuji, I have more faith in than the average, I'll say. More than I had in Atami Fuji or Asanoyama, but I'm not sold yet. I think there's real good reason to have a lot of faith in Yoshino Fuji. He's quite promising. And I would say more than Atami Fuji and Asanoyama as well. My opinion about Asanoyama is that, honestly and truly, this is not hate, but he was the biggest competition for Takekeisho. It was very... John brought this up to me. I'm going to tell a story now while you guys send more comments. Asanoyama and Takekeisho were sort of the rivals in that time because Takekeisho gets Ozeki first, and then all the old guys who were in there, they just start retiring. So he gets kind of left in the position by himself. And then Asanoyama comes up, and now it's like, oh, there was such disregard for Takekeisho and Ozeki. Like, ugh, he stinks. He's one-dimensional. He'll never make Yokozuna. But Asanoyama, he's the crown prince. He's going to make it. And I had quite a bit of, like, ugh, about him. So I'm giving you my bias in advance, but I never thought he was as great as Hakuho thought he was. I thought he was consistent. I thought he was solid. But he's very similar to Onosato. He'd have these lapses that would just destroy his ability to consistently win. Whereas Taki Keisho, it was like, all right, it's all or nothing. So John was pointing out to me, he's like, the reason you like Hoshoryu so much is that this is what the dream would have been with Taki Keisho. Like, the underdog gets Yokozuna. People are still talking crap, but it's just so fun to watch him try to prove them wrong. And I think John is 100% correct. Hoshoryu is the natural progression from being a Taki Keisho fan. Anyway, that's a long way to say that Asanoyama, I think Yoshino Fuji looks more interesting to me than Asanoyama in his prime. I still don't know what to feel about Atami Fuji. The dude's still only 23 and has plenty of time to improve, but with seeing him the last 2 years in the top division just middling doesn't help. It's a strange situation. If he was like 26, 27, you'd be like, forget him. But he's 23, you're right. He's still young, so it's hard to give up hope on him, but I don't know. There's something lacking in the execution. I will say that. He can't finish his matches off for the life of him. I missed the part about Takanosho, guys. Did she see the interview? No, I did not see the interview. I will see the interview. I promise. Mitch, a lot of guys muddled and then had sudden bursts of good performances. Takayasu comes to mind. Middling then becomes Ozeki level. We could say the same about Daisho, but Daisho wasn't doing as bad as Atami Fuji, but for a long time, Daisho was like Maegashira 1, 2. He'd get into Komusubi, get knocked out. He'd be hanging around 6 and 7. For a very, very long time, he could not get to Sanyaku. And then all of a sudden, once he did, that third time around, he became a mainstay, and it didn't make sense to not have Daisho up there. So yeah, Atami Fuji has plenty of time to change his whole career, but he is a frustrating wrestler to follow. Let's see. I found the Kaio versus Shiden match, and Shiden's right knee looks completely shot after that. Oh. I'm guessing the big wheelchair came out, Mitch. That's why I just don't know how I feel about him. I still feel like he's a potential Ozeki in the future, but he's just not showing it right now. You could say the same thing about Oho. You know? There was a point, during the Hakuho days where, you had Koto Shogiku and you had Yoshikaze and even Aoyama and Kaisei. You had guys that had great potential and they never reached it. They would get as high as Sanyaku and then they would drop down and then eventually they just stayed there. So it's hard to say what Atami Fuji's potential really is. Okay, I lost my place. Instead of thinking about scenarios, I just, as a Hoshuri fan, know and keep in mind that if Hoshuri wins out, no one can catch him because he would have beaten both Onosato and Aoi Nishiki. That's the way he needs to look at it. He needs to just fight every day the way he's been fighting the last 4 days. No distractions, no nerves. I think actually what hurts him a lot of times is the planning, right? I think the Awanishiki match is a tough one for him because, like I had said earlier, Awanishiki could step to the side. Awanishiki knows that Hoshoryu knows that blasting him out would be the most effective way to win. So why would you give that to him? Are you almost like daring him to step to the side? With that said, maybe he really wants to be Hoshoryu at his game. So if Hoshoryu is doing a lot of machinations in his brain, that the start of that match may not be favorable. So he's just got to be really, really solid, really focused, and do what he's been doing, and there'll be no doubt about it. Knees aren't supposed to limp like that. Ugh. I'm going to go see it even though it's probably going to be creepy. Yoshino Fuji didn't go to London. He might be the freshest. That's an excellent point too. I think something weird happened Like, he didn't get the passport, but there might have been a reason. And the reason is what they don't want anybody to know. It's like, better off, like, just drop that. Nobody look into that. Wheelchair Kun was wheeled out and Shiden couldn't even sit down on his own strength. Oh, what a horrible, horrible thing. I'm curious to see what you think Kotozakura's odds are to get his 8. He's got Yoshino Fuji on day 12, and I would bet he's going to get Hoshoryu Onosato, Aonishiki on days 13 through 15 in that order. The odds aren't looking good, are they? I mean, every single one of those guys needs to win. They need it. Whereas Kotozakura needs to get his 8 as well. The thought of him getting 2 of them, I mean, it's possible. I mean, he could take one off of Hoshoryu. God, I hope not, but he's done it before. He could beat Yoshino Fuji. As hype as I am about him, Kotozakura is pretty smart. And Yoshino Fuji's probably going to come at him, you know, super aggressively, and Kotozakura's defenses are legendary. So unless Yoshino Fuji really, really gets the jump on him and Kotozakura is just going back too much, there's a chance Kotozakura could beat him. He could beat Hoshoryu, he could beat Onosato. He has beaten both of them. But with the way things are going, he shouldn't be able to. None of these guys should allow him to. So this is where him as Ozeki just makes everything more exciting, because he's always got to win, and so do all the top guys. If Koto goes Kadoban, Aonishiki has an increased chance of getting Ozeki. Agree with that as well. The official word, I think, is that they were talking about January for him, but I wonder if he were to win the whole Yusho, if they would say, nah, we're giving it to him now. STZ02, maybe Hakuho predicted against Takakeisho because he knew the JSA disliked him and was trying to do him a favor. You know, I'd like to believe that, but Hakuho notoriously didn't think much of Takakeisho, beat the snot out of him right before his first Yokozuna run, which I think was the reason it went so poorly. But I've always wondered, did Hakuho secretly really want to fire Takakeisho up and he liked him? Or did he really have no time for him? If you watch their old matches, he would play with him. He would embarrass him. It was horrible. It was really, really horrible to watch Takakeisho fight Hakuho. So I never did. I'd say in hindsight, maybe Hakuho has a little bit more sympathy for Takakeisho, knowing how it all turned out. But in the moment, it really seemed like Hakuho had no time for Takakeisho. I hate the Ozeki and Yokozuna promotions are sometimes based on vibes, but I absolutely agree. Sometimes things have to be based on vibes. It would be nice if the wrestler just took care of business, because then you'd have no question about it, but I feel like vibes matter. Shouldn't expect Kotozakura to lose out, but I can't pick him in any one of them. That's the right way to look at it, H-Tim. Like, how do you pick him to win against any of them? You can't. There is possibility, but I would never actually say, oh, Kotozakura's got this match. I won't be saying that for any of those final matches. The lower divisions were sacrificed so Makauchi can end with all 42 present. There you go. Man, what happened to Shiden was nasty. Talking about it is making me see it in my head again. Horrific. Maybe I don't want to go see it. Oh my goodness. You guys are making me scared, and I didn't see it. Was I watching correctly when Shiden's leg bent sideways at the knee? It's bent sideways? Oh my. Oh, horrors. Yes, that's exactly what happened. I wouldn't say that about any Ozeki not being able to advance. My opinion is always that Ozeki are just too random ass great basha away from a rope. I would agree with you, but at the same time, it's so hard to put two together. It's so hard. Think about how hard it was for... We can say that, Hoshiryu had a random ass basho, when he won in the playoff and everything, but he had to work really, really hard to get that. One false step, and he starts all over again. Also, my boy Kazuma will hopefully win the Makushita Yusho and get promoted. Absolutely behemoth at 185 centimeters and 194 kilograms. Makushita Tsukidashi, who tore his ACL in his first basho, he's coming back. I did see one match of his. He is a massive man. Gavin says, what? I don't know what we're referring to in that, Gavin. Mitch, you could also argue that Sanyaku Rikishi are 3 random ass great basho away from being Ozeki. Exactly. It makes sense what you're saying, but it doesn't ever pull. It never comes out like that. It's just really hard to do. Winning 1 is really hard. Winning 2 is very hard, and winning 3 is impossible. So John is saying you have a type. Yeah, John knows. We're both writers. We're both character people, so he just knows the character archetype that I seem to gravitate towards. I really like the underdog who's also a badass. Because you can have underdogs that are, they're trying, they're getting there, and I like those too, but I really like the ones who are awesome. And they're like, I have all the skills I need to prove. Just give me my moment. Takeru Fuji does not look like himself. I see flashes, but he does not look good. The thing is, right from that very first tournament, injury was a major concern. If you have lower body injuries like that, they can become persistent. He's got this big upper body and these smaller legs. He just looks like the type prone for an injury, reoccurring injuries, and I think that's where we're at with him. That was my concern from the very beginning. I hoped against hope that would not be the case, but it seems to be that he's just someone who's not going to be able to stay healthy. Oh, maybe I should wait till your next stream to talk about the interview then. I was going to post the best couple quotes. I leave that up to you. I mean, we can talk about that now too if you want. So because of my computer woes, I was not able to do a stream last night. And I won't do one tomorrow night because I'm going to go on the Sunday morning sumo show. So this is our only live stream in the basho that I can do. Now next week a recap will be put up, but that's not a live stream. That's usually I type live. I was thinking about doing a live stream next week if everybody was on board for it. And there's all kinds of different things we could do. One thought I had is we could watch some of these matches and talk about them on the live stream because the Kyokai channel actually posts them for free. And it will be after the tournament. So I don't think we would get any sort of copyright strikes because they're already available for anyone to watch. And it's after the tournament. So we could watch that. We could watch the Takanosho interview. So we could watch some things from the tournament and just go deeper into it if you want. Or we could do other stuff. We could do video game stream again or whatever. Tell me what you think. Put it in the chat. By the end of this live stream, I will decide A, if we're doing a live stream next week, and B, what kind of live stream we're doing. But it's all up to you guys. Because if you're not going to come, then I'm not going to do it. It's just that simple. Okay. If Atami Fuji gets his act together, and I just lost the comment. Sorry. Where did it go? Wow, I'm really behind. You guys are doing good tonight. I like all the comments. If Atami Fuji gets his act together, he could become the next Oho. I don't know if that's... Monster agrees with me. That's mean, Tim, but it made me laugh. Yeah. I'm sitting here, I'm like, I think that's an insult. If that's a compliment, that's a really backhanded compliment. Oh, man. I feel like that needs to get undershirt. Hello, Mega Monster. Welcome. I wasn't an Asanoyama fan until his injury. Seeing him struggle really made me love him, especially now that he's trying to come back twice. Asa when Ozeki could not beat fellow Ozeki and Yokozuna. I agree. He's a much more compelling fighter now that he is doing everything he can to come back. He's had a lot of bad stuff happen to him as well. His father died suddenly. His coach died. For a while, he was similar to Mitakeumi, but I think Mitakeumi wins the tragedy storyline forever now. And that's one that Asanoyama doesn't really want to win. But anyway, he's much more compelling fighter now, but I don't think he has any shot of even getting back to Sanyaku at this point. We'll see. There was a great Hoshoryu interview posted on the Sumo Reddit. Ooh. I want to see that. Bob, that's a very fair point. I just look at Ozeki different than I do with some of these Sanyaku guys. That's understandable. Poetic quote from GR Sumo. Oho is an opportunistic Shodai. I finally found words for Oho. Nice. Yeah, he's got some Shodai in him, that's for sure. Traveling halfway across the world for a tournament seems like a hassle. Well, some of them are probably regretting it at this point. I mean, I'm sure they had fun. Think about it. They don't get to go anywhere or do anything. They literally live, eat, breathe, live sumo. They can't leave Japan for like 20, 30 years. You know, however long their career is. So, I mean, it's kind of a cool thing, but it might wreck your tournament. At least Enho got his Kachikoshi. His rise back up has been a bit slow, but at least no real setback this Basho. I was happy to see him get it, but I mean, he's still not able to get to Juryo yet, right? He's just like slowly moving through the ranks, praying that he doesn't get hurt again, trying to get that Juryo berth so that he can get his Elder stack. Oho looks very Eeyore like this Basho, very Shodai of him. The effort and form isn't there. They could be cousins. I wonder what caused Onosato to slip. I feel like the clay being wet is a cop-out. Well, Mega Monster, we had chatted a little bit about there is a possibility that Takanosho's thrust to the throat just hit him in the wrong spot. And it caused the kind of pain that would make your legs fall out from under you. I mean, seriously. If a guy puts his hands into my throat like that, I'm not going to get up and fight. I'm dead. But these guys are a little bit more used to it as well. Gavin says, I love the current excitement. Yeah, today was, I was so on the hype train. I've been on the hype train for a couple days because even though I didn't like the Hoshoryu, just embarrassed my friend Ura, I have loved the domination that he has shown in the last 4 days. So each day I was just a little bit more hype. And then when Onosato lost yesterday, I'm like, okay, this is going to be an actual tournament. And then when everything turned out the way it did today and they're all tied, I'm like, oh, the next couple days are going to be amazing. Ha Bob Gob from the Hoshoryu interview. Okay, I can't wait to read that. Yeah, finally the Yusha race feels like a race. I like when it's a race on day 11 because we just don't know what's going to happen. But sumo's weird, right? You go from, okay, there's a 3-way playoff to like somebody just suddenly winning on day 14 because 2 guys lost, the other guy wins. So sumo is very weird where you think you're going to get something and then all of a sudden it's over. And so we don't know. We don't know. We could have a winner on day 14. I don't think it'll happen, but it could happen. What kind of child were you? A child who often fights. Like a kid in general. I was studying properly. I was especially good at math and almost got perfect scores on tests. Okay, see, that fits with my impression of him that he is constantly thinking about different probabilities for matches. Especially when he gave the interview after he lost to Onosato in the playoff last tournament and he said, oh, I should have went for this grip instead. That really confirmed for me that I feel like Hoshoryu gets up there and he has about 3 or 4 plans in his head, but you can't execute them until something happens. So that can work against you. But at the same time, it's brilliant. If you can pull off making your body do what it needs to do while thinking about 8,000 things, you'll be a talented wrestler. All must watch Spiffy's vid on Awanishki's promotion chances. Okay, I'll put that in mind. In the modern sumo era, only 2 wrestlers became ozeki using runs from Maegashira, Terunofuji and Tochinoshin. Yes. Both very fond memories. And both won Yusho. I think if Awanishiki wants ozeki before January, he needs to win the Yusho. I do think if he wins the Yusho, they'll give it to him. They have not discussed it openly with us, the fans. But, I mean, he's got to beat the best of the best to win this tournament. And if he does it, he kind of deserves ozeki. Smart kid with a mean streak. Sounds like Hoshiryu is still the same guy he was back then. You never really change, do you? Like, you get smarter, you make adjustments, but the kid that you are is usually the person you grow up to be. Miyabayama's ozeki failure made the JSA lean against over-promoting young wrestlers. Boy, what is it like to be the guy who ruined it for everyone else? I know we talked about Awanishiki maybe having a better shot if Koto goes Karaban, but on the other side of the coin, we wouldn't be in any real danger in the Banza case since we'd have 2 Yokozuna. Yeah, and that will factor in, I think, because they'll just do that. They don't have to worry. Sumo Spiffy made a great video explaining what Awanishiki needs for promotion. I'll have a lot of good videos to watch in the sumo off-season then. My opinion is still that Miyabayama got screwed on the later ozeki run. Do explain, Mitch. In short, he either needs 13 wins or a 12-win Yusho. How many total wins would he have if he got 13 wins? Mega says, I don't think 13 wins is enough without a Yusho. I agree with Mega. The monsters are dueling it out. I think 12 will probably be the Yusho number no matter who the winner. It does look that way now. John and I were discussing earlier that we thought it'd be a 13 and 2, but now I don't think so. I think each one of those guys is capable of losing another one, especially with the different matchups that are happening. You started judo at the age of 5 and wrestling at the age of 11, but at that time you didn't do sumo. And he says, I didn't do it. I was scared. Interesting. Bob, I just saw what you said about Kazuma. 13 without a Yusho would be weird since I don't believe they have ever denied anyone with 35 plus wins. So if he gets 12, he has 34 wins then? It's getting tricky. We've been lacking in the super heavies since Takakesha retired, and I don't think Mitakayumi has much more in the tank, so I hope Kazuma keeps up the success. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. We have shifted out of the heavy sumo era. When John and I started watching, there was quite a few big men, and they've been whittling out, and we have sort of the new super sumo, which is a small guy who's also, you know, he's like jacked, but he's not heavy. So like he's got kind of a bigger upper body, but he's fast, he's clever. We don't have the big dudes anymore, with the exception of like Onosato, which is sad because I would have loved to have seen Onosato fight Ichinojo a little bit more. I really, really would have loved that. Why is that? Because there's one Yokozuna nearby. He has a big body and an amazing aura. Even when I saw Sumo, I was throwing. Okay, sorry. I got to get back into the mindset. This is the Hoshiryu interview. Why is that? Because there was one Yokozuna nearby. He has a big body and amazing aura. Even when I saw Sumo, I was throwing and hanging my opponent as hard as I could. Who's the Yokozuna he's referring to? His uncle? Okay. I've lost it again. This interview is going to be awesome, I can tell. Okay. I thought this would definitely hurt me and I wouldn't be able to become a sumo wrestler, but I ended up, laughs. I think the Grand Sumo preview with Takanosho interview is already taken down. What? Really? Ah. Okay. I'll look into that. I'll stream something. I could even stream the Awanishiki documentary they have on there if it's still there. Bob says it's still there. Yeah, they don't usually get rid of it until like 10 days after. If you want me to, I will stream the interview and we can talk about it. STZ02 says more Donkey Kong, maybe. I am awesome at Donkey Kong. Let me just tell you. I will show you everything. I wanted to do it too. I want to try it once. I can wrestle at any time, but I thought sumo was the only time I could do it because you only live once. So you transferred from the wrestling club to the sumo club. Are there any similarities between wrestling and sumo? It's completely different, so I had to do everything from scratch. Hoshiryu never struck me as the YOLO type. Interesting. What's YOLO? Please tell me. What is the community's general opinion on the new Asahi Fuji? I don't know him well enough to give an opinion, so I'll read your opinions. The Sumo Wrestling Club of Nippon Tai Kashiwa is a strong team. What was the most difficult thing? My whole body hurt. Laughs. At that time, I only weighed 66 kilograms, and some people around me weighed over 100. See, we discussed this about him being a smaller guy. It hurts just to hit it, but since I had already come to the Sumo Wrestling Club, I thought I had no choice. Have you ever heard the American Rikishi Takamiyama Akibone stable master talk? It's very raspy. He says it's due to a particularly violent Nodowa. Onosato might have a raspy voice after today. For some reason in my head, I see Oho getting it together in the next year or two to be an Ozeki run because he seems to have Banzuke luck. He probably will have to find himself at Sekiwake again to start a run. Well, there's going to come a point where guys like the Waka brothers are going to start to fall out, which is crazy to me because they were the guys just a couple of years ago, but they're not looking great now. There will be a point where spots will open up for Oho and Atami Fuji just by attrition. Now, with that said, if a bunch of new hot upcoming talent come up, then maybe not. Oh, yes, maybe I do know him. Asahi Fuji is that Mongolian guy that's been training in Terunofuji stable for years, right? He's going to tear it up. Is he the guy that they said is like the strongest guy ever that they've ever had? I think that's who that is. If you look at the photos from high school, you look like you're slender and muscular. How did you gain weight from there? I ate to death. Laughs. But I was the type who didn't gain much weight. Him and Takakeisho, same boat. But of course Takakeisho figured it out. But yeah, Monster, that's the guy. I was floored when they gave him that name. Well, I think that was the whole conversation about trying to make them all Fujis. Ozeki might not be in Oho's future, but it can definitely sneak his way into Sekiwake a few more times, even with no more improvement. Yeah, because a lot of guys are going to get kicked out. There's not going to be any Abis or Waka brothers and Daisho. I mean, the spots are just going to open up. A guy that's already strong enough to be a stable foreign recruit with this much hype from those mean old stable masters, I'm buying into the hype early. That's right. He couldn't compete because of the foreigner rule. That's right. Okay, I know who he is. I love Miyagi no Oyakata's comments on him during Maizumo. He won without having to hurt anybody that hard. Every time I try to scroll it scrolls way too far. Hold on. The JSA have said publicly 11 will not be enough. Well, they're making a stance there because Awanishiki's, 11-4 streak here. I don't think they directly said it, but it was certainly implied that it wouldn't be enough. Now we're back to the Hoshiryu interview. And after graduating from high school, he entered the Tatsunami Beya. When I started, I weighed about 100 kilograms. It's increased, but it was still thin at all. Monster, I'm really buying the hype as well, but I can't believe they already gave him a Yokozuna Shikona right out of the Maizumo. I did feel like that was a little much. You really want to put that kind of pressure on him? We've seen a lot of guys crumble that were supposed to be the guy. and you have injury concerns. Things happen. Like, it's exciting, but like, just slow down with the Yokozuna names. I know, it's so incredulous that there's no way I can buy the hype this time. That's just not normal. Yes, he was referring to Asashiryu when he said a Yokozuna was nearby. Yeah, that's what I figured. There's like some videos online of him and Uncle wrestling out in the backyard. They are very comical. The interview was not too long and split up between a few segments, so I don't think you need to stream it. Okay. You guys need to tell me what I'm supposed to stream if I'm streaming. I haven't gotten too much. I got 1 vote for Donkey Kong. I'm not sure about sumo, but in most sports, the dominant style changes every 5 to 8 years. Like currently in NFL, defenses are starting to become dominant again. So maybe in 5 years, a big boy comeback. That's a fair point. That's how all sports are. Hockey's like that too. Baseball's like that. I don't know the exact time period. I don't know if it's 5 to 8 years, but that fits. I think that fits. That's a pretty decent sporting cycle. Because it has to do with how long sporting careers actually are, and they're all about the same. Some sports you can compete in a little longer, but most, you're done by 40, maybe done by 35. I got Makikoshi for the first time and slammed my fist into the ring. It was my first loss, but if I won, it was the best thing that would make me the long-awaited Sakitori, so I was even more frustrated. See, I told you he's the type to just smash things. Oh, yes, you only live once. I'm bad with the little acronyms here. I'm really interested to see how fast he's going to make it to the top division. He may not even lose until the Sakitori ranks. Well, that would be fun. Just get it done and over with. Just beat everybody, hurry up and show up, and jump into the pile with Yoshino Fuji. Basically, something people say before they do crazy or dangerous stuff, and sumo is dangerous, all right. Yeah, as we've been talking about the horrific knee injury, that's all you need to know. You were also shedding tears when you walked back. There are not many wrestlers who are so frustrated after losing. I was convinced that I would become stronger. I don't like to lose by nature. Oh, you're just making me a bigger Hoshoryu fan every quote that you put here. This is totally my character archetype. Absolutely love it. If Onosato loses to Oho tomorrow, do you think that he will pull out even though both Takanosho and Oho are Sanyaku, so not Kimboshi given out? I do. I think it's a strong possibility. Unless Nishinoseki says to him, your punishment is that you have to stay in the tournament. But I could see a trying to save face situation and him pulling out and saying he's injured. Let's be honest, Takayama's nasty Nodowa might have been Tamawashi. He certainly feels like he's old enough to do it. Yeah. Hello from North Carolina. Hello, Shar from North Carolina. Welcome to this quite lengthy live stream because I'm trying to be very, very nice since it's our only one this week. What do you do if you lose? I'll do it until I win. See, I love that attitude. Hoshoryu has the right attitude to be a sumo wrestler. Olivia says hi. Hello, Olivia. I don't know. You guys want me to post the quotes I saved? It's only a couple, though, and not the whole interview. If you want to post them, post them. I'm reading Habob Gob's Hoshoryu interview, so we're open to it. Asahi Fuji regularly beats Haku Oho, Atami Fuji, and visiting Rikishi like Kirishima. Well, he's in the stable with all the top guys, so, and Terunofuji's the coach. He could probably take on more than most. Asahi Fuji is going to turn the lower divisions into paste. I almost read pasta. Pasta works too. More monster, extend and delay. That's the game plan. Well, I promise to go, at least until 11 o'clock tonight, which is another 15 minutes. That feeling is the source of Yokozuna strength. What is the most memorable thing about sumo wrestling so far? I don't know if we've ever seen 28-0 right out the gate, but this might be the one. Guys, I hope you're right, because you are both very hyped and I'm not used to it. Only 2 quotes, but very good ones. All right, we're going to have back-to-back quotes. First, we have Hoshoryu. Last November, I lost in the decisive battle and missed the championship. It was the most frustrating thing I've ever done. Ah, my heart. My heart feels for him. Here's the Takanosho interview. I got into sumo after losing to a girl in the 1st grade at a tournament for kids. I was so frustrated, I tried again in 2nd grade. Then I found it fun and wanted to keep doing it. That's such a Takanosho story. Count me in as another vote for Donkey Kong. And or Zombies Ate My Neighbors. You have to run it back. Show us how good you really are. You know, I wouldn't mind doing that because I'm way better at Zombies Ate My Neighbors. The thing was, I was just trying to show you guys stages. So I was rushing through to show you as many stages as possible, and then that didn't even work out. So I'm like, I should have just restarted right away. Ugh, that was the worst run ever. If you were playing the game and you had a run like that, you would have to restart. You can't get to level 47 starting the way I did. So I'm open to that. I'll put a poll up too. So far we have Donkey Kong, Zombies Ate My Neighbors, like retro gaming stream again. We can do it again if people are up for it. Okay, back to the quotes. I believe you can't win anything with a gloomy face, so I try to keep smiling. Oh my goodness. See, I love Takanosho too. That's like the All Might quote. You know, you gotta smile no matter what. I love him. Oh, Takanosho, you're so cute. What kind of games are we looking at? I have a couple games in mind if the genre is acceptable. Just throw it out there, Mitch. Throw your ideas out there. I'm going by consensus because I don't want to come and do a stream that nobody shows up to because I can do other stuff. But if you want to come, if everybody wants to come, then I will certainly do a stream because that's why I do them. I never considered myself a huge Takanosho fan or anything, but something about that last quote connected with me. I agree with you. That is an excellent, excellent quote because there's a depth behind it. Sumo is hard. Sumo is dangerous. Sumo is entertainment for us fans while they put their lives on the line here. So to have that sort of insight of smiling gets you through, there's just something very pure about that. And I have always felt that Takanosho was a very pure person. Like, really did things for the love of doing it and really put all of his effort into everything. So he's like the opposite of Hoshoryu in that the whole smile thing. But it's the same kind of passion. Okay, back to Hoshoryu, who does not smile. He's like, forget that smiling crap. I feel like I put that frustrating feeling of losing to Kotozakura last November into the January Basho of this year. Certainly I felt he did. Maybe it's hard to parse without seeing the interview, but there was some real emotion in those words. I have to watch this now. John was telling me how good the interview was. I might end up, like, crying again, like I did with Takakeisho. Takakeisho's made me cry so many tears. So Kotozakura won the match and won the championship. Aren't you nervous during a decisive match like that? There were times when I was nervous, but at that time I thought it was an opportunity and became hot. I can't help but think about it, and I want to believe in what I've done so far. Keep that energy, Hoshoryu. Keep that energy and win this freaking Yusho. Please. Okay. Biased rant. Finished. I got to learn from Bob next time. I'm quoting an interview. He's got the whole thing on lock. This is Bob's thing. When I started watching sumo, I watched via the J Vlogs reactions. His nickname for Takanosho was Smiley. Can't not like that guy. Takanosho's the only one who does smile, too. It's like a trademark that people don't notice as much because he hasn't been as high as Komusubi in a while. Excuse me. Losing my voice already. I'm very tired. What kind of time was it after becoming a Yokozuna? It was hard. First of all, it's difficult to take sumo as a Yokozuna. There are many things that must be done and things that should not be done. Yeah, and for a hot-blooded, also smart kid, being Yokozuna is probably a lot more pressure. There were many things I thought about. Because I'm a Yokozuna, I learned a lot. Let's see. It's said that only those who have risen to Yokozuna can understand the feelings of a Yokozuna, but I know it firsthand. I wondered many times how a successful Yokozuna overcame this. I think about that all the time, too. When I think about the situation Hoshoryu's in, where he's got a fellow Yokozuna with him who's really big and really dominant, and he's got a lot of people saying he didn't even deserve the promotion. So he has the weight of being a Yokozuna and the weight of people proving to people that he deserves to be a Yokozuna, which is a burden that Onosato does not have. It's a little unfortunate. Not that I want Onosato to have that, but Hoshoryu's got double the weight on his shoulders. I should probably start posting the promotion-demotion picture. Monster, please give me your dissenting opinion when applicable. I had it already, but I didn't want to interrupt Bob. Just throw it in there. Are you used to the Yokozuna Dohyo Iri? Your Dohyo Iri is smooth and cool. Thank you. I thought I had to make it the most beautiful at the end, so I studied it while watching the video myself. I have to say, Hoshoryu slid into that Dohyo Iri so much quicker. I don't care for Onosato's. It's very stiff. But once again, of course, Hoshoryu studied it. I feel like many people mainly use their knees, but I can use my ankles to make them cleaner. If you have it ready, go ahead. When Bob finishes, I'll send him my descents. Okay. By the way, do you think you are glad to have become a Yokozuna? I wonder. Of course, there are times when I think it was good, and there are times when I think it was bad. I can imagine thinking that. It's pretty cut and dry, mostly this Basho. Juryo promotions are really carrying any promotion interest. What kind of time is each, good and bad times? What I think is good is that I was able to fulfill the wishes of those who have supported me so far, saying, I want you to go up to Yokozuna. I wonder if I was able to give back to my parents and fans even a little. I think it was bad when I lost. Sometimes I think so. Bob says he's almost done. But Mitch says, pretty much, there's not much there. I didn't see the interview, so I'm enjoying it. Demotion picture is easy. May say in all... What does that say? Omis. All the Omis are gone. Unfortunately, I lost in the championship match, but my teacher called out, you did a good job. I was very frustrated because I was one step from winning. It was easier with my master's words. Onosato's Dohyo Iri looks super derpy. In fairness, his master's wasn't much better. I gotta agree with that. Mitch, sometimes you have exactly the right words. I think in general, like Onosato, once again, he kind of looks like the kid who was born with all the tools. It's just going out there and using them. Whereas I feel passion and drive and obsessive thinking from Hoshoryu. And I really like the obsessive thinkers. And I like the drive. I like the frustration. I think Hoshoryu does bring a little bit of that out in Onosato. I think Onosato cares a lot more because Hoshoryu is there. But overall, Onosato just comes across that way, and that's why his Dohyo Iri looks the way it does. He lost balance and had to hop while he lifted his leg. Yeah. What kind of existence is a master for a Yokozuna? It's tough at the rehearsal hall. I'm always strict with myself. But when I leave the training ground, I don't talk much about sumo. I can see that sort of in the videos, like when he's out there planting rice in the fields. It's like, yeah, I can't think about sumo right now. I feel like an older brother. I often text with my master. He sends me a photo of the food at the restaurant, and I say, I went there today. Let's go together next time. The young people in my room and everyone around me say that they like my master. Well, it's also nice that Hoshoryu is not in Isegahama where basically everyone else is. He's kind of in the lesser known. You know, I've spent so much time reading the comments, I didn't change the video at all. The video's just kind of been stuck in one spot. Hopefully that's okay. I would be doing this as a podcast instead of a video, if not for the fact that Sumo is on YouTube. So it only makes sense to put a Sumo podcast on YouTube. Is there anything you do to relax in your private time? I like online games that connect with the world, and I can relax when I play them. I also watch anime and Mongolian movies. There you go, man. He's an anime fan. Yes. I really like Hoshoryu's Dohyo Iri. I also really liked Hatamafuji's and Terunofuji's early Dohyo Iri. Kakuryu's wasn't bad either. Yeah, I like Terunofuji's. I do think Hakuho had a sweet Dohyo Iri. Kisano Sato's Dohyo Iri was the most awkward, stiff arm compared to the smoothness of Asashoryu, Hakuho, Hatamafuji, Kakuryu, and Hoshoryu. Yeah, you know, Onosato and Kisano Sato are very, very similar guys. Although I think Kisano Sato definitely had a lot more movement in the ring. Onosato's still trying to work out the kinks. I'd have a hard time not thinking about my job on the off days if I were Hoshoryu. Yeah, I mean, he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders, and then he finds a way somehow to, think about something else. What have you been watching lately? A new season of Kingdom has begun. I've been enjoying that for a long time. I personally hated Hakuho's Dohyo Iri, especially later in his career. I don't know what it was, but I just downright didn't like it. Hakuho had enough practice. It's funny because when you see old matches of Hakuho, it's like he's just always been Yokozuna. He was Yokozuna for so long. It's unbelievable to think about. So yes, he had enough practice with his Dohyo Iri. What I noticed in some of these old matches is Hakuho always did like sketchy stuff. It wasn't just at the end of his career. Like, he really messed around with the fighters he wanted to mess around with. He'd do all... Like, there was one match where he, like, clapped in front of the guy's face. I mean, he literally did whatever the heck he wanted. Never going to be another one like him. Terunofuji's Dohyo Iri was not really that good, but it worked because of the size and aura. I agree with that, too. He had the aura. He had Yokozuna written all over him, so it didn't matter if his moves weren't perfect. It just felt like I'm watching a Yokozuna. And he's doing the ceremony, and those demons are going to run away. Mitch says that's very true. I loved Hakuho's Dohyo Iri. Hakuho's was beautiful, in my opinion. Do you spend your time at home and not go out much? I go to my Heya for morning practice, take a break at noon, go to the Heya sumo wrestling, and stay at home all the time. I get tired when I go out. Oh, here we go. Here's the question. Suddenly, what type of women do you like? I like people who are beautiful and who have interesting stories. He is a very charismatic personality. I feel like you're not going to get this kind of interview from Onosato. Who is your favorite celebrity? I rarely watch Japan dramas, so I don't know celebrities. Oh, I'm getting along with Sachiko Kobayashi. We also went to plant rice together. Was that the old lady in there? See, I was thinking about this recently. With Hoshoryu being a Yokozuna, there's going to be pressure at some point for him to find a wife and have children. And I'm guessing like the parents or somebody would show interest in pointing to him where he should go. So I feel like all of a sudden there's going to be a basho where it's like, oh yeah, Hoshoryu has a kid. He got married like a year ago. Terunofuji's Dohyo Iri to me looked different when he first got promoted versus when he was retiring. I really liked his early ones, but his later ones looked painful. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, by the end, he was a broken man. But in the very beginning, he was like hyped up on adrenaline. When are you happiest right now? After all, I feel I'm the happiest when the people who support me and my parents are happy. Do you have a dream? I've always dreamed of becoming a Yokozuna. After all, when a dream comes true, there are times when you feel a little down, so I thought I had to make a new dream again. Now I dream of winning double-digit Yusho. It's a goal rather than a dream. I'll do my best for that. STZ02. I love Kingdom. That's it. I'm an Onosato hater now. Just kidding, but Kingdom is great. Once you get past the 3D season, 100% recommend the manga, though. I don't know anything about Kingdom, actually. Like, where do you even find it? What streaming platform? I see. What kind of Yokozuna do you want to be in the future? Ah, this is it. I've been saying this all night. This is the quote. I want to be told by everyone, this is Yokozuna. Do you see it? It's what I've been saying this whole night. Hoshoryu wants to prove he deserves it. He wants to show that this is Yokozuna Sumo. He wants everyone to say, there's the Yokozuna. Who cannot appreciate that? And he's showing it right now. Finally, please tell our readers who have never seen sumo wrestling the appeal of sumo. Sumo wrestling is over in 3 to 5 seconds, but sumo wrestlers practice almost 365 days a year to win the best. I would be happy if you could see that it is filled with tremendous effort in an instant. Well, I will say, Hoshoryu, I can tell by watching your sumo how much effort goes into it. So, I think you've done all that you were trying to do. Ha Bob Gab is done. It's after 11 o'clock. There's no more comments. You do know what that means. That means I've been on here an awfully long time, and nobody's stalling, and nobody's voting on the live stream. I've had 2 votes for video game stream, possibly 3 if Mitch has a certain game that he wants, if it fits into the profile. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get going if you don't have something else for me. Oh, good. If it's on Crunchyroll, I can look for it. I have Crunchyroll. I don't have anything else. It's funny. So many people were like, what streaming do you have? Crunchyroll. What's that? And that's all I have. I don't have Netflix. I don't have Disney. I don't have Peacock or Amazon Prime. Just Crunchyroll. So Hot Bob is saying yes on a live stream. After 11, you say, I think it's time for promotions. Go for it, Monster. Monster, I believe it's time for promotions. Go for it, guys. I wonder how many people are actually still here. It's just the die-hard promotion, demotion picture people. No Umis in the Jurio this basho. Alright, I'm going to let you guys kind of throw them in there before I start reading them. Okay. Makushita. Kyoku Kayu. Dewa Noryu. And Kazuma. Plus the Yusho. Mitch concurs with Monster's promotion picture. Hikaru Musashi got 5-1 so far. Jurio demotions. Hida Umi, Shiden, who we think may never come back. Himu Kamaru, Mita. Jurio promotions. My boy Dewa Noryu finally going to make it. 4 years in Makushita. The first made it there when he was 20. Oh my goodness. That's a long journey. So the promotions would be Dai Seizan, Asanoyama and Asahakadu, Hatsuyama, Fujiseun, and Kageyaki Koto Eho. Yes. So where... I was going to say, we need our Makauchi demotions. Hello Kitty. Yes, Hello Kitty. Makauchi demotions. Meisei, Sadana Umi, Oshomi, Shonana Umi, Ruden, Mitaki Umi, Shishi, Tomokaze. That's a sad group right there. They're all just sad. Well, I don't see it happening. Okay, this is where my vision starts to go. Fujiryuga winning out could make things a little interesting. I don't always include 4 off guys, but those 3 look so bad they need to be included, I think. Yeah, I think that's fair. We're looking at possible complete collapse. So there you have it. I hope Fuji Ryoga wins out, forces the Bansake committee's hand. Endo is the only one so far to get through Juryo and 1 Basho. Fuji Ryoga would make it in 2. Wow, Mitch and Monster just completely agree. Delay question. Worst anime you finished? Worst anime that I finished. Usually if an anime really stinks, I don't finish it. Worst anime I finished. I gotta really think about that one. I'll put that in the back of my mind. Worst anime that I finished. I mean, there's been some that I watched and I'm like, ugh, why did I watch that? But then I put them out of my mind. So I'll throw that in the back of my mind and think about it. I think Fuji Ryoga would probably get denied for his rank. Too many guys in the top of Juryo doing good. I agree. They don't like to do that. So, guilty pleasure anime. What makes it a guilty pleasure? I don't think they would promote him since I think there are too many guys ahead of him. The recap show is going to be interesting. So much is going to happen by then. Yeah, the recap show might be 4.5 hours. Maybe a guilty pleasure anime of mine. I don't think the MS5 will be promoted despite their favorable circumstances. However, Sei Hakuho has impressed me greatly. Noda is a wrestler who has caught my eye as a prospect. Yeah, I've been kind of wondering about Sei Hakuho as well. I was really into trashy harem anime. Worst anime I finished is probably 100 or something. I don't know. I guess guilty pleasure would be... Sometimes I like to watch those little short romance animes because they're only like 13 to 15 episodes. But they're all exactly the same. There's nothing that interesting about them except for one I watched, which was, I think it was like Koto-chan. It's basically about 2 karate fighters that fell in love, and that was kind of more interesting because she was very aggressive fighter. But usually it's like the same old, like, hi, I like you, I don't like you. But it is a guilty pleasure. Sometimes I just want to see them get together. Monsters, Noda and Sei Hakuho had that iconic Jonokuchi playoff where Baby Gyoji threw the Sagari off the dohyo and the Yobidachi caught up with one hand. It's been nice getting to see more 3rd division again. I still need to watch more, as I'm sure there are promising wrestlers lower in the division I'm missing out on. It's so many hours, though. It's hard to know what to watch. Worst one I finished is School Days. I never even watched School Days because it looked not so interesting. I think it's going to depend on how many guys they need to promote. They'll probably only need 3 unless Hakiyozan or Tohakudu really shit the bed. I think it's only going to be 3 myself. My guilty pleasure is definitely B Gata H Key. Heavy on the ecchi, don't watch, Maria. I will not. There's a reason I like shonen, okay? Shonen is my favorite genre of anime, and I really don't stray too far from it. Sometimes I'll do the slice of life. Like I said, sometimes I like the romance because they're only 13 episodes and they're just one short story because there's an underdog element to the romance thing. Usually there's somebody who's undesirable in some way and gets a partner that they thought they never could have. So there's a little bit of that in there. But I don't like anything. I like fighting, okay? It's a theme. I enjoy the fighting. I like the romance in fighting, which is like, hey, you're cool. You just saved my life. Let's get married. I don't think I saw that. I've been so busy in the lower division. Intrigue has escaped me until this last time. Haha, true. Ranma half the best. I never actually saw Ranma. I've heard so much about it, but I never ever watched it. School Days is such a meme. Maria, have you finally watched Frieren or the My Hero Academia spinoff? Not the My Hero Academia spinoff, because I have such a hard time watching something that's related to something that I really like, because I'm afraid I'll hate it. But I did watch the first episode of Furin finally, and it is very, very intriguing. And I plan, as soon as My Hero is over, which I think is December 13th, as soon as My Hero is over, I will be moving on to Furin. But I did like the first episode. I thought it was very cool. School Days doesn't count. People watch that because it's bad. It's like Mystery Science Theater. And for the love of God, when is Satoru Fuji going to put it together and get into Juryo? It's really sad when you see guys stuck in the third division. If you want a good underdog anime, Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple is fantastic. Ha Bob Gob. I tell you that I love fighting animes, and you think I haven't watched Kenichi like 17 times over. I absolutely love Kenichi. It's one of my favorites. That is like the best. It's not my favorite of all time, but maybe that's my guilty pleasure, is rewatching Kenichi, because I absolutely love that anime. Childhood friend usually gets the advantage in romance anime. Yeah, but sometimes you'll get the weird scenarios where it's like new kid in town. And I like that. I guess I like the competition of it. Even in my romance, I just want to see who's going to win. Furin's first episode is one of the best of all time. It rivals Cross Game's first episode. It is a fantastic first episode. I had no idea where they were going to go with it. I was completely shocked. It was intriguing. The characters are cool. I mean, it's definitely going to be the next anime I watch. Wait, I forgot. Who is John's Yusho pick this boss show? I know he picked Abi in his Dark Horse, but who did he realistically pick? Oh, I don't remember. That's terrible. I know that he wanted to pick Hoshoryu, but then when I picked out Osato, he refused to pick Hoshoryu, so maybe he picked out Ishiki? Shout out to Kaze Dai. I need to see him in the top division just to hear people fail pronouncing that name. Did I just do it because I can't really read? Kaze Adai. Ha Bob Gob. I love Kenichi. There you go, baby. We are in total agreement. That show rocks. Freaking rocks. You know what? I might rewatch it tonight because you brought it up. What anime have you rewatched the most? This is a tricky one because there are certain animes I rewatched over and over and over again, and then I stopped rewatching them, and now I have new ones that I rewatch. So I'll give you a list of the ones I watch at least once a year. Yu Yu Hakusho, Kenichi, Rurouni Kenshin. I have watched Dragon Ball Z many times. I love Dragon Ball Z. I know it has a lot of filler, but it's like they're my family at this point. I have watched so much of it that I just can't. I can't give up on it. It's my favorite. It's not the best anime of all time, but it's like my heart anime. But I have watched Yu Yu Hakusho a significant amount of times. I try to watch it at least once a year. Your Lie in April I have watched many times, but I don't want to give spoilers, but I have watched Your Lie in April many times. I'm not expecting more than 4 Jiro guys to earn their way up. I'm expecting that might save Asakuryu. I'm going to agree with H-Tim on that. My prediction is that the bottom of Makuuchi would be full of big losing records. It was right on the money. That's kind of where we've been the last couple tournaments. Have you heard of Kaguya Love is War? Watch the dubbed or watch the highlights of the dub on YouTube. It's wild. The narration is a highlight. I have heard of it. I have not watched it. Incorrect. Oh, sorry. Incorrect. Game show noises. What game to play tonight? I am very undecided. I'm one of those people who prefers DB over DBZ. See, the thing is, I'm a Vegeta fan, so a lot of the DBZ I watch has to do with Vegeta. I like rewatch Vegeta scenes or Trunks scenes or anything related to Vegeta in any way. I have great memories of watching Kenichi during the summer and eating mochi ice cream. I can't remember the first time I watched it. Oh, I was in college when I first watched it. It was brand new in Japan, and we didn't have Crunchyroll yet, so I was doing it through like one of those fan sites. Ah, I loved it. I was watching Kenichi and Naruto at the same time. It's like Kaze Eidai. That's pretty cool. My Switch Joy-Cons died, so I'm relegated to using GameCube controllers while it's docked. I've been there. I have watched Cross Game and Code Geass so many times. I want to know more about Cross Game, but is that available on Crunchyroll? Because I don't remember seeing it. I can't rewatch Code Geass ever again. I'm too traumatized by the whole thing that happens. I watched it once and it just hurt me too much. Never seen Your Lie in April. What is it about? Okay. So I have to tell you this. Your Lie in April is a slice of life, but it's 26 episodes, so it's not like the short 13 episode one. But it's about loss. It's about death. It's about overcoming loss and death. It's very psychological. It's sad. But it's beautiful. It's like beautiful sad. So it's the most beautiful sad thing I've ever watched in my life. And because it's so beautiful, either sometimes I skip the sad or I just deal with the sad because it is so beautiful. Beautifully animated, and the music is incredible because it's about a piano player who gives up playing. He's like a genius piano player, and he gives up playing when his mom dies. In the story, the very first episode, he meets a violin player who's just wacky. And she's trying to bring out, like, he's so crushed inside. She's trying to bring him back to life, basically. It's a heart-wrencher, but it's one of the most beautiful ones I've ever seen. So it's worth constantly rewatching. Okay. Same DB is better, but Vegeta's the best. Kenichi is awesome. We are all on the same page with that. Why Florette Eye Song is a very underrated anime. Or Vivi. See, I can't read it this time of night. Vivi Florette Eye Song is a very underrated anime. I've never heard of that. For the stream next time, we should watch some of the Kaguya dub highlights on YouTube. We could probably get away with watching clips, but it's tricky. E like the letter. Oh, E. Okay. Everyone tells me I need to watch Code Geass. You would like Code Geass, Monster. You would really like it. I can't watch it again. It's too hard. Anytime I need to get hyped, I watch Meirum versus Netero from Hunter x Hunter, one of the best fights in anime. So I got a hold of the old Hunter x Hunter, so I'm trying to get through that, and I stopped watching the new Hunter x Hunter right after the Hunter license thing. All the crazy stuff that happens at the end of that. Oh no, actually I was watching, oh my god, I can't remember the character's name. The thing right after where he had quit the Hunter licensing and they went to his house to find him. And his house is crazy. Anyway. No Cross Game on Crunchy, that stinks. See, everyone's saying it. Yes, because you should watch it. You would like it personally. I read the manga of April. It's awesome. Well, that's the thing, right? So the manga is awesome, but because it's a music anime, watching an anime form is just so superior in this case. They had professionals playing all of the piano pieces and the violin pieces. I mean, it's the soundtrack to that anime is the best anime soundtrack of all time if you want to appreciate it for just the musicality of it. I listen to that soundtrack constantly. Vivi Florette Eye Song is about a singing android who is told by a robot from the future that she's the start of a robot uprising 100 years later, so she needs to stop it. Interesting. Only music anime I've seen is Your Boy Kong Ming, war general from ancient China, uses battle tactics to make a singer popular. That's very interesting. And it shows her trying to do so across the 100 years, and since she's an android, she doesn't age. Interesting. That does sound funny, Bob. That name. I'd have to go back and look at the pronunciation. Kaze Eidai and Kyokumi Zuno are doing very decent for Makushita newbies. You guys are all up on the lower divisions here. Unlike myself. Look at this. You've made me go over 2 hours because you started bringing up anime. And you started bringing up good anime. Everything before the York New City arc in Hunter x Hunter is basically a prologue. Prepare yourself. I might actually be in the York City thing too. Now that I think about it. Because they were in a building and they were going up to different levels. And I stopped there. Because then I heard that there was an old Hunter x Hunter. And I felt I needed to watch it. And then the voice actor for that Hunter x Hunter is actually Naruto's voice actor. So it brings a whole other vibe to it. It's like, oh my goodness. Naruto before Naruto. Very cool. I highly recommend that Monster watches Code Geass and Habab Gob watches Your Lie in April, but just know that it will make you sad. Not at first. Over time. But the music is stunning. The visuals are stunning. It's more fun to cheer for a lower division guy to become a Sekitori than a Makuuchi wrestler winning a Yusho. I agree. I agree with that. If only sumo was a little bit easier to obtain. Kyoku Mizuno is no slouch in the cool name department either. Yeah, that's a fun name. I hope he doesn't change it. Another great music anime is Forest Piano or something like that. Similar to April, but not as sad. I should go find that because I don't like the sad part about Your Lie in April. I like everything else, but the sad part is hard. Another weird / bad anime is Akiba Maid War, just gang violence between maid cafes. That's strange. Akiba Maid War was hilarious. You gotta give anime credit for just having the most insane subject matters. In the end, it's always about the underdogs overcoming, and those are my favorite kinds of stories, so. Alright, guys. It's getting late. It's 11:23 my time. It has been very fun hanging out with all of you. I wish we could do it another night this week, but it sounds like we have enough consensus for next week. So, next week there will be a recap show, I believe on Monday. No, it will not be on Monday. The recap show, gets a little tricky. John and I can't record it till Tuesday night, so it won't premiere till Wednesday morning. So, the recap, doing a live stream might be, because we have Thanksgiving next week. So we might have to do the live stream the day after Thanksgiving. I'll put that, you guys tell me. Best isekai you've seen. Isekai is the transfer to another world thing. Yes, I know all about isekai because everyone that's read my book says that it reminds them of an isekai. My favorite isekai is Escaflowne. Old school, but boy do I love Escaflowne. That's one I used to rewatch. Oh man, consistently. And now I haven't watched it in several years. Any advice for writing a book other than just getting everything into a first draft? I have lots of advice about writing a book. One would be write what you know. Write what you like. Write the things that you want to read yourself. It's very difficult if you start writing something that you don't know too much about or that you're not too interested in about, and then you have to do a bunch of research and it doesn't come out right. So that's my first piece of advice. My second piece of advice is, after you've written everything you're going to write, however your writing process is, there's 8,000 ways to write a story. Edit, 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 edit. People don't understand how important the editing process is. Edit, edit, edit. When you think you're done, edit it again. Connected to that is read your story out loud. It is easier to edit. And then have fun. Enjoy it. If you don't enjoy writing the book, you're never going to finish it. Those are just some basic advice. There's other advice at a later time. No sumo and Thanksgiving leftovers this year. I know. I don't like that they did it a week early. It's throwing everything off. Bless you. Which of the big three is your favorite out of Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece? Naruto. Love Naruto. I've never actually watched One Piece. It's just too long. Bleach, I do really enjoy, but there are sections of Bleach that were weird. I'm like, it's the story. You're losing me here. But I really loved the beginning of Bleach anyway, and the very end of Bleach. But Naruto's my favorite. Never saw Overlord. What happened to your computer? We can have a funeral for it next week during the live stream. It just completely died. I thought it was the power supply, and then we got a new power supply, and it still will not turn on, which means it might have been the power supply, and it fried the motherboard. But at this point, it's like, do we try to fix the parts, or do we just buy a new computer? So, with Black Friday coming up and everything, it's like, we should look at the sales and take our time a little bit, and it stinks. I do have a laptop, but it wasn't set up for any of this, so I had to download programs and set things up again, and Bleach's author wanted it to be a Monster of the Week kind of anime, but his editor made him turn it into a long narrative shonen. For it not being his first plan for the story, it was very good. It was very, very good when it was Monster of the Week. They should have just let him do what he wanted to do. Especially the Overlord novels, they just kept getting better and better. Is Overlord on Crunchyroll? I mean, you guys give me all these great animes, but then I can't watch them, which really stinks. Yeah, I don't know when we'll do the live stream. It might have to be Friday night, because if the recap doesn't come out till Wednesday, that would be crazy to do a live stream before the recap, because then we would just talk about what I thought. So I think we're going to have to do the live stream next Friday. The Bleach filler seasons ruin it. Watching by skipping the filler is much better. That's what I had to do. And I had to do that with Naruto Shippuden too, by the way. Yes, Overlord is on Crunchyroll. Beware of Albedo. She will probably be your least favorite character. Okay. You can really tell in the beginning of the show it was still being written with that Monster of the Week format, and it's time people remember the fondest. Shouldn't have kept it that way. Yeah. When it was Monster of the Week, it was freaking awesome. And then they trying to build this big narrative, it just didn't quite work. You could tell that he was having trouble with it. Overlord, but not season 1 for some reason. Well, that stinks. If I can't start from season 1, what am I going to do? It's so funny if anybody comes on the stream who's strictly a sumo fan, and then it's like, what's happening? Why are they talking about anime? Look, Hoshuri likes anime. Takikeisho likes anime. It's all connected. When I watch DBZ, skipping the filler is illegal. Well, DBZ had the funniest filler in the world. The arcs of Bleach got very repetitive. I still love it though. There's elements of Bleach that were just the most fantastic storytelling, and then there was just parts that were just like, oh, this is hard to get through. I don't care about this. DBZ dub or subbed? Well, controversial, but I really like the dub. I really, really like the dub. I like the old dub, though. They've redubbed it a million times. I have the oldest dub, and I really like the oldest dub. Actually, I feel like Maria will like Albedo, especially in seasons 3 and 4. Been there. I, no joke, ran around my room almost screaming with hype when Rukia activated Bankai. Rukia was such a cool character, and then they just sort of, they didn't care about her after the first, part of the show. I don't know, man. Bleach has such bones, but it doesn't all come together. But I'd say the same about Naruto Shippuden. Original Naruto was a nice, tight story. Beautifully done. You get to Shippuden and he lost his focus. Mayuri, best character in Bleach. Which one is Mayuri again? See, I forget some of their names because there's so many characters in Bleach. I love Bleach, but Orihime is the worst character in all of fiction. I absolutely loathe her. I agree with you. I really didn't like Orihime. I wanted to, but I did not like her one bit. Favorite character in Naruto? Is Sasuke too edgy for you? Okay, so here's what you need to understand about me. I like edgy characters. I really liked Vegeta, for instance. I don't like Sasuke. I don't like Sasuke one bit. And I know there was a whole contingent of people who like Sasuke. I liked him in regular Naruto when him and Naruto were rivals. But that whole going off with the Orochimaru thing, it was lame. I think Itachi was better than Sasuke. Can't get much edgier than Itachi. Mayuri was the black and white scientist guy. Ugh. I didn't like Mayuri at all. Ugh, no. Too creepy. Orihime was such a disappointment. Yeah, I didn't feel like I cared if she got captured or not. That's not good. I cared when Rukia got captured. I didn't care when Orihime got captured. Sakura being all lovey-dovey with Sasuke was such bad writing. And then, like, they made Sakura, like, awesome training with Tsunade, and then they just wasted her. Like, what a waste. Mayuri was the crazy guy who blew his own people up. Yeah, I didn't like him one bit. No. My sister feels about Sasuke what I feel for Orihime. Your sister is right. Sasuke stinks. I dislike Sasuke too. I think Naruto himself was an excellent freaking character. He really was. I actually really like Gaara. So I like Naruto, I like Gaara. I like Itachi. Itachi's like such a great character. Man. I liked Orihime, but was severely disappointed in every part she was in. If she was just a nice side character, it would be fine. Yeah, make her a side character. Every other woman in the show was better than her. Every single one. Itachi was great. But GD, do I enjoy that crazy? I mean, I can understand why you might enjoy him. He's a great character, but he creeped me out too much. Sakura was useful for exactly one arc. When she fought Sasori, that was pretty cool. I love Mayuri and Kenpachi just being crazy. I like Kenpachi. I really like Kenpachi. He was just, crazy dude. I stopped being able to understand what happens in Naruto once it got to Shippuden, so as far as I'm concerned, I still like Sasuke no matter how right people are about him sucking in Shippuden. The cool thing is we got a little bit more of Itachi in Shippuden. And like I said, I think Itachi's a better character than Sasuke. But Sasuke in original Naruto was a great character. I still preferred Naruto, but I liked the rivalry thing. So, Sasuke was good in the first part and ruined in Shippuden. I always enjoyed how they just kind of tolerated each other. Exactly. I think Rock Lee embodied Naruto better than Naruto. Yeah, I mean, Rock Lee actually went through the hardest times. Rock Lee had main character vibes. He did. His fight with Bone Guy, can't think of his name right now. Orochimaru's Bone Guy was just classic. I've tried watching Naruto many times. When it gets to the war arc, I start to lose interest. I've heard it's shorter in the manga. I might just read that. I'd suggest that. I agree with you too. Like, it was going good, and then they went into the war, and they did all this crazy stuff, and by the time you get to the end, I just didn't care anymore. I finished it, but I just didn't care. I love Mayuri. He's the worst. Listen, I understand why you could love him, but I can't. He's just too creepy. I thought Mayuri is a good character because you're not supposed to like him. He fulfilled his role in the narrative. Excellently written character. No question in my mind. But too creepy for me. Every time he was on screen, it's like, ugh. Rock Lee should have gotten more focused. He made the exam arc that much better. Yeah, I don't like that they just kind of tossed him to the side. He should have had a lot more to do. By the way, Shippuden just forgiving Orochimaru was ridiculous. Agree with that too. I think how they're handling things right now in My Hero is the way that Naruto should have done it. I thought watching people WTF reactions to the pregnant demon baby thing Mayuri had. Ugh, I don't want to think about it. No. Oh yes, Kimimaru. I liked Kimimaru. I liked the Rock Lee Kimimaru thing with Gaara showing up. That was pretty freaking awesome. I loved Temari in the first part of Naruto. They kind of ruined her in Shippuden as well. But Temari is badass. Yes, STZ, Mayuri's insane, morally corrupt, but I enjoy his shenanigans so much, and how at the end he starts to develop just a little bit of humanity when it comes to his daughter. Rock Lee versus Gaara is the best fight in anime I've seen in anime. That is the classic. You could talk about Naruto all day, and that is the fight everybody remembers. GR says, thank you for the stream. You are welcome, GR. Hope you're enjoying all this anime talk. Okay, the pregnancy demon baby wasn't Mayuri's fault, though. I don't want to talk about the crazy pregnancy demon. Ugh. That whole thing made me hate him more. Tamari's skill was never missing, but got nullified in her first fight, and Ninja Tools got nerfed completely in the series. Yeah, and that stunk because she was cool. And I liked her, her strategies, and I liked her whole situation with Shikamaru. She had great chemistry with him in the first season. Obviously, they get together later, but Boruto is like a nightmare. It absolutely was him. He couldn't help himself when it came to tinkering. A lot of characters were really good in OG Naruto, but it felt like they just got relegated to the same kind of role in Shippuden, except Shikamaru, who was better in Shippuden. Shikamaru just got better and better, and he's probably the only redeeming character in Boruto, which I've only watched like a couple scenes because the actual show is terrible. My ideal Naruto ending is that Naruto versus Sasuke or Sengan Chidori explosion. That was awesome. That ending fight was awesome. And I kind of wish Shippuden never happened in some ways. What's wrong with Shikamaru? He's awesome. I love Shikamaru. He is my second favorite. So it's Naruto, then Shikamaru. Then Gaara, then Itachi. Oh, I forgot about Kakashi. I really like Kakashi too. When I first saw that Nagamura changed his name to Himukamaru, my first thought was that it sounds like a Naruto character. It does. Sasuke should have never become a good guy again. He needed to stay a villain for his character arc to be worth it. Sasuke was just infuriatingly edgy. I agree with you, but I do think that's like the one good thing in Boruto is what Sasuke's doing in Boruto, but like Boruto stinks, so you don't get the payoff. I was rooting for Itachi. Well, I mean, once you find out that Itachi wasn't quite what he was portrayed at, like that's the only good thing about Shippuden, but obviously rooting for him in the OG was not the same. When he fought Sasuke, yeah. Oh, yeah, starts with an S. What's his name? Can't think of his name right now. He's in the group with Kiba and God, what is his name? I can't think of his name. I can picture his face, but I can't think of his name. It starts with an S. I can't even remember his name. He's creepy. Yeah, I can't think of his name right now. I'll look it up. Shino. I was right about it being an S. Shino. Neji was cool in OG Naruto. Yeah, Neji was awesome in OG Naruto, and then they just, like, sacrificed him for no reason in Shippuden. Like, that was such a waste. Such an incredible waste. All kinds of spoilers if you didn't watch it. You know, Naruto had the... OG Naruto is one of the best animes ever. Shippuden knocks it down quite a bit. I will still rewatch certain Naruto arcs because they're that good. It had been really cool in Shippuden. Sakura became a full-time healer and Hinata was actually utilized as her abilities insanely cool. Yeah, agreed. Like, Hinata was as skilled as Neji. So, if they were going to just get rid of Neji, they should have had Hinata be super strong. The one arc I always rewatch is the Fairy Tail Grand Magic Games arc. I never got too far in Fairy Tail. Imagine being the only big good guy who dies in the war. Seriously. Seriously. What was he thinking? Did you ever write fan fiction? No, I have never written fan fiction. But one might say that my 2 books that I've written are a love letter to anime. They're original characters, original story, but very anime. Very anime meets the Western world, I guess. I could write fan fiction. That would be fun. Like how I want Naruto to end. Did you read manga at all? Not really. I've read some manga, but the thing is that the idea of spending a lot of money on books, like, because manga's like so many. I just couldn't get behind it. I'm like, I'd rather just watch an anime. So I like manga in theory, but I just don't want to pay for it. Oh, I think most of you guys would like the book. I'm pretty sure. I'll let you know about it later when it's more definitively available. Shippuden has some cool aspects about it, but there's a reason people mostly talk about OG. It just got too convoluted. They lost the focus of what they were trying to do. Yes, I know there are other ways, and that some of those manga are the only reason I read manga. I read the Fruits Basket manga because the anime stopped like right when things were getting good, and then there wasn't any more, so I wanted to know how it ended, so I read the manga for Fruits Basket. That was an excellent anime as well. And I liked Kyo in that anime. The angry fighter, outcast of the family, fits my profile well. If it had ended with Naruto versus Pain and everything got settled, that would have been the perfect ending. I agree. The Pain arc was the best part of all of Shippuden. So they could have ended right there, made Naruto Hokage, rebuilt the village, and we're done. And they would have had a perfect second show. You guys are really good at distracting me. Because you know how much I love anime and how much I like to talk about it. So you've kept me on another half an hour. It's craziness. We do Ricochet to DBZ character comparisons all the time. What are some Ricochet to Naruto comparisons? I don't know. I feel like Naruto doesn't lend itself as well to sumo wrestlers as Dragon Ball Z, because sumo wrestlers almost seem like bigger than life personalities like DBZ characters. Yes, Jiraiya's death was probably the saddest. Pervy Sage. Asashori was Jiraiya. Sumo shirt update. I talked to my friend and then we ran out of time because we've been talking about the book more than anything else. The book is taking up all my extra time, unfortunately. But the sumo shirts are still going to happen. I promise. It might just be one shirt to start, but then we can expand. Better an engaging chat than a non-engaging one. I agree. As long as everybody's up for anime, I'm up for the chat. What is your friend's music podcast? My friend's music podcast? I don't know what we're talking about, actually. My friend's music podcast. Or should we not listen because they... Oh, that podcast no longer exists. Or should we not listen because they denied you a guest appearance? Yes, you should not listen because it doesn't exist anymore and I was denied a guest appearance. You're only doing one stream this time. We have to stall while we can. Yeah, we're going to make up for it by doing like a 3-hour stream. So that's like 2 days worth. You can now say you're a better podcaster than them. Yeah, I guess so. We lasted longer. That's about the best I can say. Truly, truly karma. You get the inspiration and then you outlast, I guess. Does New York do the daylight savings time thing? Yes, we do. And John was ranting about it in the preview show because he hates it. Hates it, hates it, hates it. Yeah, it remains to be seen what kind of podcaster I am because, I don't know, we're not getting the views we used to get. YouTube is not recommending us anymore. We have like less views than we have subscribers. That's just weird. That's not usually how that works. Oh, I'm still waiting for an answer for my epic delay question. No, I'm in New York, Mega Monster. Okay, let me just think about it. Worst anime that I've ever finished. Worst anime that I've ever finished. You're making me like have to think about animes I didn't like that I erased from my memory. How about an anime that's really hard to finish? And that would be Gungrave. I'm not going to say it's a bad anime, but I still have not been able to finish it because every single episode is so dark that it's like work to watch it. So I've been stuck on like episode 13 or something like that forever. So Gungrave is the hardest anime to finish. That's the best that I could say for now because I can't think of the animes I hated that I finished. Actually, a lot of people have less views than subs. Okay, I guess that's fair. Maybe you guys should look at posting the preview and review on Spotify or Apple. I might at some point. You've got a decent solid live stream base, though. Mid-20s usually. Yeah, I mean, I'm not hurting for entertainment. That's for sure. And you guys all like coming by, so I can't be that boring. What's Oz? Yes, Gungrave. Have you ever seen Death Parade? I have not. It's such a good question. I'm really proud of it because it makes people think really hard. It is a good question. And I still don't think I've completely satisfied the answer, but I will think about it more. Do you ever go to the post section? I will post it in the post section when I realize what it is. Psycho-Pass is pretty dark too. Psycho-Pass season 2 was such a flop. First season is great though. Too many animes like that where they start off great and then it just falls apart because they didn't. Here's the one. His and Her Circumstances. Worst anime I ever finished. There you go. That was a romance anime. It started off so incredibly good and they ran out of money, so they just like made up an ending and it stunk. Yes, I did struggle for an answer, but I finally gave it to you. His and Her Circumstances. Started off amazing, ended crappy. Okay, guys, with that, it is almost midnight. I made it 2.5 hours. I'm getting tired. I can't even read the screen anymore. And I thank you all for coming. I'm sorry that there's only one live stream this week, but you will get a live stream from me probably next Friday, and we will have the recap show on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving. So you'll have a couple next week. Oh yeah, His or Her Circumstances, I read the manga. Just watch the first half. First half is awesome, and then be disappointed in the second half. You can make it up to us by having a stream every day next spa show. I'll try to have some extras next time. Okay, I'll do the plug, and then I'm going. Okay. You have been listening to 42 Opinions Sumo, the greatest anime podcast in the world. And by anime, I mean sumo. Let us all root for a 3-way playoff and/or a Hoshoryu Yusho because I am incredibly biased. Thank you all for listening, and if you like what you heard, please like, comment, and subscribe because we really need some more views. It's been a pleasure. Thank you all. No, it's not. I'm looking at the timer. The timer says 2 hours and 34 minutes. So it's not at almost 3 hours. Oh, I was supposed to say Onosato Yusho. Okay. I'll correct it. Hi, it's me again. Actually, go Onosato! Yay! But actually, according to my members, I hate Onosato, so yay! Okay, you guys are crazy. You're making me do crazy stuff. I'm tired. It's 10 minutes to midnight. So, I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for talking anime, because I love it. And, yes, thank you for officially liking the video. And I will catch you all next week a couple of times. Leave me some comments. Leave me some messages in the post section. Nishiki Fujibasho? Not sure about that. Yes, I'm on Sunday Morning Sumo Show. That's the reason that I will not be doing a live stream tomorrow. I'm too tired for Bug Zero tonight, but maybe Bug Zero will make an appearance in the recap show. Bug Zero is the reason my computer just blew up and doesn't turn on anymore. Darn him. Please put some pictures of Bug Zero in the post section. Yes, I'm on day 13 again for Sunday Morning Sumo Show. So that's Friday, 4 o'clock in the morning. So it's between Thursday and Friday for me. Okay. Good night, all. It's been fun.